What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about everything PC gaming related. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah, and tonight I am joined by Joel.
Hey, friends.
Dave.
Hey, folks.
And James.
What's up?
And tonight we have lots of really important things to talk about, like Fallout 4, and mostly just that because that's what everyone else wants to talk about. We're going to do the news and stuff first so that when we get to Fallout 4, I can just let these three run wild, skip through the field of daisies, linking hands and singing about the redemption they know nothing about. But anyway, yeah. Casual Shenanigans Gaming. We're happy you guys are here listening to us tonight, and the podcast is streamed live on twitch.tv/germgaming every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best time zone to be in. And we have some cool stuff coming up. This is the only episode 98 we have ever had for Casual Shenanigans Gaming, and it's the last episode 98 we're ever going to have.
Oh, now I'm sad.
But in 2 weeks, we have episode 100 coming up. It only took us 2.5 years to get there. But it should be, actually, it's almost like 3 years. But yeah, that's going to be coming up in 2 weeks. And after episode 100 is episode 101. I know, everyone was on the edge of their seat for that. But when episode 101 is out, we have some new stuff to show you guys. Episode 101 will be the launch of Casual Shenanigans Gaming version 2.0. Or version 1.1 or 1.01 or whatever.
I think it might be moving to beta at this point.
it's almost feature complete.
It's moving out of
early access.
Early access.
We're ready to do that downgrade. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Our podcast will only be available on Xbox 360 and PS3.
We've got a PlayStation 4 app coming out. I wonder what the standards are for getting a PlayStation 4 app, because there aren't many apps. Like, if you look at it, there was a bunch when it first launched. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then there's been like barely any new ones added. So I'm not really sure what the vision is for PlayStation 4 apps.
At least it's not Roku. Roku has like 5 billion crap apps. It's really, just nothing.
Roku is for people who want to stream stuff like from their computer. And Roku is like to be homebrewed. That's what Roku's for. Like, I don't think they ever really wanted it to be an Apple TV
really weird stuff on those apps. Like, you just search like, you'll search like movies or something. Like a billion apps. And you go through and like one's just called like Fizzledy Dizzledy, and I'm like, what is this a real thing? And they have like 4 movies like that somebody bought and they got a channel.
Just like Android, the best thing about Roku is anyone can make stuff for Roku. The bad thing about Roku is anybody can make stuff for Roku. But yeah, I would say probably version 1.01 was when we realized that, hey, DayZ is not coming out in the 2 weeks like we thought it was when we first started the podcast. So that was when we probably hit version 1.01 where we were like, crap. All right, I guess we'll talk about other games. And then probably version 1.1 we was like, oh, well, Battlefield's kind of becoming a dry well. And then we moved on to everything else, and now we're just kind of a regular gaming podcast. But we have cool stuff to show you guys. New directions that the podcast will be going in. Only improvements, we think. We have not taken any of your suggestions. This has mostly just been internal stuff. But if you want to send us feedback, you can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com. And we've gotten a lot of people writing in, actually, with things relating to episode 100 and just general feedback and stuff. So, hey, thank you guys for writing in, as always. But the podcast is supported and paid for by our Patreon. We thank you guys who support us at patreon.com/casualshenanigansgaming. It pays for things like the podcast hosting us on Libsyn, and it pays for, what else does it pay for? It pays for the Potato Masher, which records the podcast.
Server.
It pays for the TeamSpeak server.
It paid for upcoming trip to Boston?
No, it's not paying for that, Joel.
It could be made for that. Right, guys?
It also pays for giveaways that we do on stream and for events.
Speaking of giveaways, Dave, do we want to tease the giveaway we're going to be doing for episode 100? Is it too soon to talk about it? I guess we're only 2 weeks away, so there aren't that many opportunities to talk about it.
Yeah, we might want to tease it now, like before it's too late.
Okay, so Dave, if we are going to be doing a giveaway, there's going to be like some trivia giveaways and some competition stuff. And if you want to participate in the giveaways, what do you need to do, Dave?
Well, send us money on Patreon. Or
no. That's
give us $50 and we'll give you a game.
That's like that PSN. Yeah, that's like the PlayStation Plus model. Look at all these free games that come with this subscription service. It's like Netflix, all that free television.
But not as good of a value.
Anyway, Dave, what do people have to do if they want to play the games and get the giveaways on episode 100, which is June 18th?
Yeah, you can write in at casualshenanigans@gmail.com, but as far as the giveaways themselves, I'm going to have you cover that because we haven't discussed the details of how that's going to work.
We did.
So
we talked about it last week.
That was a week ago.
Okay, well, if you look in the description of the podcast, there is the link to our TeamSpeak channel. On the night of, you will need to be in a special TeamSpeak sub-channel. On that channel, that'll be called, like, episode 100 contest or something. It'll be obvious when you hop in which channel you should be in. You hang out in there, and we will drag you into the correct channel when it is time to play the game. So if you're hanging out in that channel, we're going to assume that you are ready to play and you are ready to face off against Joel in an epic battle of wits. You know, Joel's preparing right now. You know, Joel's been preparing this whole time. Joel's studying up hard. But if you're going to compete against Joel,
I'm reading Game Informer every day.
There'll be some games. We're going to give away some games.
Yeah.
Now, we've been talking a lot about The Witcher lately. So you think, oh, well, maybe they'll give away The Witcher 1. No.
We will.
But not just The Witcher 1.
Not yet. That's just the start of it, Jeremiah.
The Witcher
you know
1
what we're doing.
And 2.
That's
The Witcher
right.
1 and 2. That's like 150 hours of content. That's probably more content that's probably more good content than the entirety of this podcast up till now. But is that enough? Is that all we have to offer you?
It's the 100th episode. Can we go bigger?
We can go bigger.
What does Patreon say?
Patreon says we're a go. Dave, how big can we go?
We're going to give away the entire Witcher trilogy on PC. All 3 games.
That is like 350 hours of content.
Can we call that like the lose your job package?
The replace your life with this new better life package. One lucky person.
James, I feel like... Oh, sorry.
One lucky person who's going to have to square off against Joel, so you're lucky in numerous ways. You are going to be competing for the Witcher 3. And I think we might even, like, there might be a contest to get to be that person. We might not even drag a random person in. It might be a contest to become the person
Snap
who gets...
a pool stick.
No, only one can play. We're holding tryouts. What music is that?
Star Trek.
Oh.
The old Star Trek fight.
Yeah, none of the rest of us were alive then, James.
Shut your mouth, little child.
Anyway, so that'll be coming up, and that's going to be awesome, and we're going to give away other stuff too. But episode 100, 2 weeks from now,
Yes.
June 18th.
I just realized people are not going to really tell anyone to get on, like, to listen live because they're not going to want as many people to be able to win.
Well, we're telling people. Other people don't have to tell people. We're telling people.
No, I know, but they're going to be like, I ain't telling nobody. I want to win the games. James, I feel like we need to give away a console game at some point for the one console person that listens. Just kidding. It's probably a good 50-50.
An unmarked PS2 game. Yay. Just grab one out of the case.
Just grab any game from James's house. It'll be a couple of years till he sees it again.
He'll never notice.
I mean, I've got that copy of Gran Turismo 4 you gave me, James. And we could make some lucky fans' night.
I forgot about that.
Did you want it back?
I mean, I've been trying to play it, but whatever.
Have you
No.
really? Okay.
Yeah, I love racing.
Well, I don't know. We've never talked about that.
There's a reason why.
But, yeah, we were talking about Patreon, all things Patreon pays for. Joel, I think we have someone to thank.
Well, yes, we do, Jeremiah. I don't have a voice for this one, and I just thought of an idea.
Hold on, wait.
Wait. Are you going to give me a voice?
I gave you a voice.
Yes.
I would just like to thank Armani for pledging money for our podcast.
That's one of the best ones so far, actually.
I was horrified.
I got a little thing.
You got a little thing? All right.
If you
Yes, you
if you
do.
pledge,
I just repeated your words back to you.
if you up your pledge or pledge anything, and you know your name is going to be read out by me in a weird, stupid voice, go ahead and write in. I'll try to do whatever voice you ask me to do.
Do they have the ability to write messages when they pledge?
Yeah. I don't know.
They can
yeah.
send us messages on Patreon.
Well, yeah, or send them on
but
Patreon
just
or email us and
just
say,
have
hey, I pledged. Please read my name off as Bart Simpson or something. I don't know.
Please
and
butcher my
they're
name
all
in
gonna
this
be
voice.
horrible.
And Joel will read the Indian Irish Cookie Monster version of Bart Simpson just for
It
you.
was what was the vampire, the
Italian vampire Cookie Monster. It was so specific, but it was pretty true.
Yeah, Armani, the name, it reminded me of a book series I really enjoy. I'm not going to tell you because it's a spoiler that's in it. So if you ever run across this one book out of billions and find this, Armani, there's a evil apocalypse creature thing called the Armagi, and they're like lizard swamp people, and it was amazing, and they're just unstoppable. So
And it was amazing.
Is that the first thing you thought of?
that was the first thing I thought.
You didn't think of like Armani suits or
No.
cologne?
Joel, you're talking to Joel. I think of suits.
Weird apocalypse monster.
All right, enough of me.
It's pretty
Next.
cool.
All right, next is the news. We're jumping straight to the news. The news is going to roll fast tonight, not just because we need to get to the Fallout 4 talk, but also because, as I told everyone else, I'm just going to apologize to the listeners now ahead of time. So my wife has been making like mixed iced coffee drinks, and she makes, I don't know, like a cup or two at a time. And she made some for me last week because I got very little sleep one night because of some work stuff, and I had it, and I was like, wow, that's really good. So yesterday, I was like, I'm going to learn how to make that myself because I've never actually used a coffee maker. And it took one failed attempt. Now I realize how stupid that is because coffee makers are pretty easy. But yeah, I did it wrong, and it was just like lightly brown water, and it didn't taste good. So today I did it again correctly, and I made a pot of coffee. I cooled it down in the fridge. I poured in some creamer. I poured it in. I drank it. And then it occurred to me to ask Dave, my resident coffee expert, is 4 cups of coffee too much coffee to have in like a 10-minute period? Because I drink I drink big. I mean, I drink probably a gallon of water per day. I'm not really big on sipping. I'm not a sipper. And apparently, as Dave has told me, 4 cups of coffee is a lot to have at one time.
How many ounces was that, do you think?
Well, I mean, it's 4 cups, so I can tell you
32?
exactly how it's 32 ounces.
How much do you think it was?
Was it actually 4 cups from the coffee maker? Like 100%?
Yeah, our coffee maker has the 4-cup mark is as high as it
You
goes.
just like filled it up. It actually
It's a
was.
small coffee pot. I didn't.
Oh, man.
Now, mind you, Jeremiah, how often do you drink caffeine?
Well, I used to have a really bad caffeine addiction, but I kicked that because it was bad. So these days I like Dr. Pepper 10s, so I'll have like maybe one a day. I mean, it depends. I don't need caffeine to get up in the morning, and I don't need to drink it for a pet me up. I happen to like things that have caffeine in them.
Yeah,
Wait, say that again?
A pick me up, maybe.
You said pet me up.
Pep.
I heard pet
I
me
heard
up.
pet.
It's pep. My stupid pop filter's too good. It made my pee
up.
sound like a T. Anyway, I don't need any petting. So yeah. Anyway, I don't drink caffeine because I need to pick me up. I drink drinks that happen to have caffeine in them, but
Not enough to have like a super tolerance to it.
Yeah, well, I used to, but that was years and years ago. But now I think I'm probably never going to have coffee again. That's probably the smart thing to do. Because, like, honestly, I was having trouble reading my computer screen. All my joints hurt. And I was having trouble stringing together sentences. So
I told you. I gave you the list of all things you're going to be dealing with.
Also, as it turns out, I might have brewed it a little bit strong because I'm not a measurer when you're making stuff.
No.
I'm an eyeballer. So
Jeez.
I eyeballed the
You
grounds.
always measure your coffee.
Not always. So anyway.
Well, I can do it. I eyeball it too, but I'm used to making it too.
Yeah, if you're familiar with your
Yeah.
coffee maker, you can kind of, but
I'm not familiar with any coffee maker.
He just had the coffee machine above his mouth and was just like, click, just drinking it.
pour the ice in at the same time as the hot coffee.
I think Debbie in chat has the best suggestion. I will let friends make me coffee under supervision, but I think I might be done making my own coffee. My eyes pour cups that my body can't drink. So, moving on to the news.
Do you have a newfound respect for Starbucks prices? Look, I'll pay it if I don't have to go through that again.
No, I still dislike Starbucks strongly. but-
That's me and burritos, by the way. My eyes make burritos that will not fit in my mouth.
That's Chipotle burritos. I always get the burrito bowl, and I walked in yesterday, and there was someone right by the entrance eating one of the burritos. That burrito is like the size of a loaf of bread. Like, I don't know what
It's so
magic they're
beautiful.
putting. Joel, what did I say? That's amusing.
You didn't say anything. I was just like, this. You guys just kept going.
We just ignored you.
I don't know why it was funny.
Joel's laughing while he sharpens his knife. Don't listen to Joel. We'll see what happens.
I was laughing because I was thinking of myself listening to the podcast as not me and just thinking, just a random guy go, this guy. Like, no one cares.
Like, we're in the middle of it talking about burritos.
I accidentally hit that sound effects button.
No, Joel, I did notice. I'm sorry. I was trying to turn the sentence structure
It's totally
around.
good. I'm
It
not
didn't
pissed
work.
at all. That was funny. It was my
All
own
right.
joke.
Well, we're 15 minutes into the train wreck, so let's go ahead and do the news. Joel,
Oh,
what
man.
time is it? All right, thank you, Joel. First news item, Corsair has announced the Bulldog, an upgradable, liquid-cooled, as they say, 4K gaming PC for the living room. But that's kind of stupid. They say it's going to be an upgradable bare-bones DIY kit that offers gamers an interesting base from which to build a living room PC capable of 4K gaming. Why is that stupid? Because their bare-bones kit, they're offering liquid-cool NVIDIA graphics cards like the Titan X, the GTX 980, and GTX 970. So yeah, I guess you can play games at 4K, but really it's just a bare-bones kit in a small, attractive-looking case. And it's cool because it has a mini ITX form factor motherboard with a kind of proprietary liquid cooler. So this whole thing's going to be liquid cool, which means it's going to be very, very cool and very, very quiet. And you'll be able to choose from several different CPUs. As of yet, they're unannounced, and a special Corsair 600-watt power supply and liquid-cooled graphics cards. So it's kind of supposed to be like a slightly large Steam machine with severely beefed-up internals. But why it's stupid to call it a bare-bones kit is it's $399 without processor, memory, storage, and graphics. Like, it's a super expensive case. And then liquid-cooled graphics for like their baseline configuration will be $940, and it'll top out at $2,200.
Yeah.
Worth it.
So you might as well just pay like one of those nice computer makers to just build you a nice one, like, because it's not that great of a deal. I mean, it's cool that it's all liquid-cooled, but it's cool that it's liquid-cooled.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know.
Low-hanging fruit.
It's not even that great looking of a case. Like, it's a little bit too extreme gamer looking.
Yeah, so
I mean,
here's
what
the
do you
thing.
guys think?
I like the design of the case a lot with the angles. Yeah, I feel like that looks like a really fancy, like, I can see that in a home entertainment center if it were not for the
Really?
red
'Cause
highlights.
In my home entertainment center, I want flat black boxes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the shape of it, I mean, it has some funky angles, but with the grates and all, like, it looks like a streaming box. But
Maybe,
it's the red highlights that kill it for me. Like, it just stands out so much.
It looks like the little edges are going to snap off.
The feet also don't look super sturdy. They might be made out of something that is sturdy, but I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm not super jazzed about this, but Corsair thinks it's a really big deal. I've typically liked most of the things that Corsair has put out, but I'm not really excited about this.
I think something I am curious about, like, a lot of these, like, random PC things that come out, like, I bet it, I wonder, like, is it not that much of a, I don't know, a risk for them? Because I feel like they say, you know, let's make it. We're not going to be selling millions of these things. If we sell 200,000, we're good. Like,
Well,
or even less. Like,
Corsair is interesting because they make cases, power supplies, cooling, mice, motherboards, or not motherboards, keyboards, headsets. They make everything but like motherboards, processors, and graphics cards. They make memory. They make almost complete computers, and most of the stuff is not radically different from the stuff they already make. It's just another custom case with adapted versions of their already existing liquid cooling setups. So
Yep.
for them, this is probably as much of a pride piece as anything else, that you can have something that's like 90% Corsair in your living room. And they generally do a really good job at stuff. So, but for other companies, yeah, it's definitely a risk. And that's why you see most of that stuff doesn't ever come out. Like the super amazing Thermal Take Level 10, like where the entire computer was modular. I think Alienware had something like that.
Yeah,
And
the Alienware went from... Was that last year for the Alienware, like the
like 2 years
modular
ago.
revolutionary?
Yeah, it's
Never came
because
out,
no
it was
one gets on
canceled.
board. Yeah,
well, I'm
yeah.
just saying, I don't think it is that much of a risk because there's so many of these little things come out all the time, and they do it all the time. Like,
Well,
Corsair will come out with this. I mean, they've done every year. There's always some random thing like this that doesn't really do well. You know what I mean? It's like, it sells to,
Right.
like, I don't know, a couple, probably
Yeah,
100,000
because
people.
they're
You know
and it's
that
done.
many-
many,
tech.
many computer systems or companies do close.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
Yeah.
there's risk for smaller companies, but like when Corsair does it, or when Antec or Alienware does it, they have a lot of money. They can risk it. But I mean, that's true of a lot of companies. Like Sony does the same thing. The PlayStation TV, those are currently selling for $40, and they didn't take a big risk. They just took a Vita, took out the screen and the controls, and slapped it into like a little Apple TV looking box and sold it. So it wasn't a lot of R&D costs. They already did most of the R&D for the Vita, but then they put it into this little streaming box and tried something else, and it didn't work out. But they probably not out a lot of money. I mean, and that happens.
Yeah.
And pretty much every PC manufacturer has done something like that. But I don't see why they keep coming out with this stuff, because I never see anyone really care. Like, it splashes on blogs for a day or two and then it goes away.
I think they're just trying to find that niche, because with that modular design PC, I remember seeing that. They made like 10 of them. That's it. They didn't make a ton of them.
I don't think they ever even sold them.
No, they didn't. But I'm saying there's no need. They just do it. If there's any interest, then they build them. You know what I mean? Because there was no like release date or anything on it. So I think there is a very small risk on that. It's like, hey, let's build this. We only have to build like 5 of them. Okay, what's the cost of that? And then the cost of maybe going to the tech shows, but I don't know.
Yeah, but it costs a lot more money to build lower quantity.
It must just be like a splash in the bucket. But the thing is, you're never on forums and you see people bragging about their one-off that they bought from some company when they were making it for 10 minutes. Like, people brag about their actual custom setups,
Yeah.
They don't brag about, hey, that thing that no one bought, I own one. Like, people don't really care about that when it comes to computer parts, unless it's things like Titan X's or R295 X2s. Graphics cards, people buy the weird status ones. Cases, not really. Like, it's just not that cool.
That's the thing, is that this isn't just like a case or a video card, though. You're buying into a complete system that's probably never going to get an upgrade, let's be honest.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, sure, great. You buy something with like a 980, it can play at 4K now. Okay, but that mini ITX motherboard, it's Intel, so that socket is dead as soon as you buy it. You can make an upgrade to the next like sub version of their processors, so another 10% bump, but that's stupid. There's no reason to do that. Yep. So by the time you actually want to make an upgrade, that socket's dead. The graphics card is going to be useless. Like, everything will have moved past it in 4 years when you're actually ready to upgrade it. So yeah, it's not an actual high-end thing, but they're charging high-end money. Unless their coolers are going to work with the next couple graphics cards that come out, there's no reason. Like, now, I mean, I have a high-end motherboard. I have a high-end processor. I can swap new graphics cards out for quite some time.
What video card does it come with? Because isn't it, I mean...
You can choose a 970, 980, or Titan X.
That's kind of burn.
But I'm just saying, like, this is...
Titan X.
Isn't this better than the potato masher, though, or no?
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm
like, so why are you saying it's dead in the water after 4 years? So, I mean...
for the money you're paying for it.
Well, it's expensive, but I'm just saying, it would last a good while for you. I mean, it should.
What I'm saying is, if you spent $2,000 on a regular gaming computer, like a custom computer, you can just swap the parts out and upgrade incrementally.
Yeah.
This, you can't really. That's why I said the water, because if you're buying it for 4K living room gaming, that's going to be much more demanding than 1080p.
I understand that. My question was just purely more for that it will last more than just 4 years.
That's why it will last, Joel. What I'm saying, what I mean by it's dead is the upgrading is dead.
Yeah. No,
once you buy it, you're pretty much set. And if I'm going to pay that much money, I want to be able to upgrade, because like if I buy this super awesome case with a great cooling and everything, I don't want to feel like I'm behind when just the graphics card's used up. Like, let's say I get the top of the line Intel processor.
Used up.
Well,
it's done.
I can the top of the line Intel gaming, or not even the top of the line, a $300 Intel processor. I can game on that thing for like the next 7 years. We know that's established. Like, that'll last over a console generation if I want it to. Graphics cards typically get replaced more, or storage gets upgraded, or like there's other things people tend to upgrade because that advances faster. Especially people who have high-end gaming computers. Not that they have to upgrade it, but they're going to want to upgrade it if they're the type of person who spends $2,000 on a boutique gaming computer.
Exactly. The kind of people that buy this kind of setup are enthusiasts, and enthusiasts upgrade their computers.
I don't think anybody's enthused about this.
Well,
I think that's the wrong word.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm
people who buy this are poorly informed enthusiasts.
if I'm going to spend that much money on a computer that I can't really upgrade, it better look nicer than that.
No, that's very true. Again, for that money, you could get a Main Gear or a Digital Storm or something that's super awesome. And then in a couple years, if you're the type of person who likes to be on the cutting edge, and if you're trying to game at 4K right now, you're trying to be on the cutting edge. Like, no one stumbles into gaming at 4K. There's way too much work and hassle that goes into that right now.
I love the picture of it. It's just it's almost half the size of the TV.
Yeah, they didn't have a good promotional picture either. They're trying to show it off. It looks like twice the size of an Xbox One, which is not what you want.
It's photoshopped too. It's poorly
That's
photoshopped.
not a 4K TV.
Yeah, also that's true. But they're showing a 4K TV. It should be like a 65-inch minimum. Like if you're trying to show off.
Look at the bevel.
The bezel. It's like a 42-inch Samsung from 2007. That's what that TV looks like.
If you're gonna Photoshop this, why not like pick a bigger TV or like the angles are all wrong.
It's huge.
If I'm going to spend that much money,
that looks like just the size of my computer,
I'm
just
gonna
on
link
its
it in the
side,
chat.
with like little weird little legs.
I'm going to get a
talking about
4K
this.
projector if I'm going to do that. Speaking of which, you guys, did you see the projector? Did you see the projector light when you were in town this past weekend? Dave, I remember you saying some nice things about actually doing stuff on a projector now after you got to watch a movie. Like, if you were going to game at 4K, don't you think the projector would probably be worth it?
Oh, yeah.
And Dave, now I need to ask you, because you gave me crap when I first got the projector. Did you notice the light switch after 10 minutes into the movie?
Yes.
You did? It still bothered you?
He's a
pixel peeper.
And what it was like the landscape shots where we start to pan, and it's like a super wide, slow pan. It's just right there in the corner, like the bright scenes on the ice planet. It was like a little shadow outline on the light switch.
Anytime they switch to the IMAX, context for everybody. We watched Interstellar when everyone was in town this past weekend.
Yeah.
And they use IMAX cameras for some of the big scenes for that. And the IMAX cameras go to 16:9, and then, yes, it is covering the light switch. But anyway, sorry, we got off track as normal. But
I hate the switching, honestly. It's really annoying.
If it looked like the Alienware Alpha.
the Alienware Alpha is a good looking... Like, the Alienware Alpha looks like it belongs in a home theater center.
That's a living room
because
PC.
it's so boring looking, which is what you want if it's sitting underneath your TV. Like, you don't want flash because you don't want anything that distracts away from the actual TV itself. I don't, at least.
Have you seen Sony's new Blu-ray players? Like the weird angle on top. It's
They're coming
so
out with
bad.
new Blu-ray players?
Well, no, what they have in the store now.
Oh, no, I haven't noticed.
I've never seen it.
Drop
Sony's
it in. Drop it
Blu-ray
in. Twitch
player.
thing. And then we got to move on. We spent longer on this news item than I thought we were going to.
This is the 2013 model, but you'll get the picture. Literally.
Literally. I will get the picture. No, you can't drop it in Skype, James. I can't look at Skype.
Look at Skype, fool.
I can't look at Skype. It breaks the stream. Oh. That's ugly. That's as ugly as the Shield.
Really bad. That's a bad choice.
The Shield TV thing. Yuck. Well...
Well, that makes for good podcast chatting.
Yeah.
All right.
Next thing, we're going to skip a couple news items down. Speaking of graphics cards, like we just were, the 980 Ti has officially released, and it's about what everyone expected. It costs 30% more than a 980, and it delivers about 30% more performance than a 980.
Wait, it costs more than...
The 980, yeah, the Ti. The MSRP is $650, and the MSRP for the 980 got dropped to $500, which is it's to be expected. What's not to be expected is the 980 Ti is actually an overclocking beast. Have you guys been following the overclocked benchmarks?
I saw an article from Maximum PC that once again, like another release in this series, just overclocks like crazy.
Yeah, NVIDIA's gotten way better about that. I was expecting the 980 Ti to maybe have like another 5 or 10% left in it, just because you'd figure it's, they're releasing it to come out and go up against whatever AMD is going to release in the next couple weeks, and you'd figure they want to push it pretty much to the limit, just so it's as good as possible for as long as possible. But actually, people are easily overclocking this on the stock cooler to 20%. And they are getting 20% more in games. You can overclock the 980 Ti to be within spitting distance of a 980 SLI setup. That's kind of nuts for $650, especially as someone who spent over $650 in the past month to get 970 SLI. Like, I don't regret my purchase at all. It's an amazing setup. But if this was out at the same time, if I knew it overclocked that well, I probably would have gotten it. Like, that's crazy good.
Yeah.
For the money, that's crazy good. Now, do you need to spend $650 on graphics cards? I don't know.
Always. No?
Not really.
What's the answer? I don't know.
Did.
Good point. But does the average person need to? No, I don't think so. But if you were going to spend that much money, one, you should wait until you see what AMD has coming out, just to be safe. But that is a seriously impressive performance numbers, and honestly, I will be surprised if AMD beats that by a long shot. Now, they might match the performance and sell it for $500 or something, just because that's something that AMD would do, but who knows? But yeah, 980 Ti.
Is it just me, or has NVIDIA released a lot of cards while everyone's been waiting for AMD's?
Well, they have
sheer SKUs. I know it's all versions and revisions, but still, it's just like
they have. But if you look at benchmarks, the R9 290X is still competitive with the 980 in most 4K and 1440p stuff. Like, yeah, AMD hasn't been releasing much, but their 2-year-old card is still competitive for half the price of what NVIDIA has. So.
I just feel like
all the crap people give NVIDIA or AMD about being so hot, the NVIDIA cards are actually, they're basically just as hot. Like, it's not.
They're getting there again quickly.
Yeah.
With overclocking, they are.
With overclocking, but if you want to be a lot faster than AMD, you're going to have to overclock. So
it seems like AMD's got like the stage set up for the big announcement, and the NVIDIA guys like jumping up and down in front, like, no, look at this SKU and this SKU, and pay attention to us. We're still offering good things. Just a wild amount of releases.
Speaking of offering good things, Valve has a couple good things that have been announced this week. The first couple Steam machines, the Steam Link, which is their little PlayStation TV, Apple TV style streaming box, and the Steam controller. You can get them as early as October 16th if you pre-order through GameStop or Steam. Why you would want to pre-order a controller, I have no idea. But if you
to
don't
get it
want
a month early.
Well, I think it'd be wise for something like this to
for
pre-order if you really
enthusiasts.
want to get one, because there's probably not going to be a massive amount like there's going to be
Maybe.
PS4 and Xbox controllers, because they don't know if it's going to do well yet.
They don't know if it's going to do well. I'm guessing because it's not a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox, a major hardware release, I think it's going to be easy to get your hands on it if you want it. But we'll see. Unless they artificially keep the demand up by not manufacturing enough, which I don't think Valve would do that. They're not typically that type
They're
of
not
company.
Apple.
Yeah,
But
we'll
it's
see if
kind
they
of
do.
smart, though, to do that, though, especially for something like this. Just to, if
It would
people
be
are
if
willing
you want to
get-
build hype. But again, that's not typically how Valve does stuff because they don't need to.
Well, they haven't
but-
ever sold hardware, so
Exactly. We don't know. Maybe they're. I don't think they're nervous, but maybe they're trying a different playbook this time. We'll see. But if you don't pre-order it, you can pick it up November 10th. So EB Games and GameStop and Steam are all offering pre-orders, so whatever. Also, the Alienware Steam Machine and Cyberpower PC's Steam Machines will also be available in the same time window. So SteamOS is coming out. You'll be able to order the actual Steam Machine with SteamOS, a Steam controller, Steam Link, etc., etc. I'm definitely going to buy a Steam Link and a Steam controller because I want to try them out. All the videos Valve has released that I've seen anyone playing with a Steam controller, it looks pretty dang precise. Not mouse precise, but it looks way better than a regular controller.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would try it. I don't think I'm going to be like doing web browsing and some of the other stuff they've showed, but they did show someone playing City Skylines pretty convincingly. So that'd be pretty cool. I mean, it'd be a nice bridge between a controller and a normal mouse and keyboard setup. If this lets me play games off with at 4K processing power, but on my couch in front of my TV with, like Joel says, the one click, turn it on and just go straight into a game, I'm on board with the Steam Link. And if the Steam controller makes it easier to record, the thing the Steam controller could really do is if I'm using the Steam Link and then I go, oh, I want to adjust something in Windows. If it's precise enough, I can pop out to Windows and actually use it like a mouse, because I can't do that with an Xbox controller right now. If the Steam controller lets me do that, that will be worth it. If it's just precise enough to do that.
For like home theater stuff, if you can use it like a trackpad in Windows, that could be legit.
Now, Joel, with the Steam Link and the Steam controller, your reasons why you mostly game on consoles now, because you like to be downstairs with your wife in the living room. You like that whole setup better than sitting up in your office.
Yeah.
If the Steam Link works like they say it's going to, which of course we don't know if it will yet, the only thing you would need to do, like the only problem that wouldn't be solved for you, besides like input latency and stuff we don't know about yet, would be audio. Obviously, it'll pipe sound down through your speakers, but about chat audio, we don't know if there's any way to pipe chat audio through the headset or through the Steam Link
I'd have to
itself.
figure something out for that. I mean, I have a TeamSpeak app on my iPhone, you know.
But you don't want it to be an easy solution where you can just turn on your headset.
It'd be awesome if it had like a little port, kind of like the PS4 controller. You just pop it in. I don't know, but then I don't know how it would connect to the chat because we don't really use Steam Chat. So if we use Steam Chat, that'd be easy. But no one ever uses that. So
No, because TeamSpeak's so much better. It would need to have Steam.
Well, Steam Chat sounds really good. It really does sound good. It's just,
does, but for
it's
like
easier for
group
a lot of
stuff.
people. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So no one uses it. Like,
if
so
Steam
yeah,
OS,
I think it'd be that. I think of that. It'd be also be awesome if they would have had some kind of like wake up ability. That would be awesome with that control. I don't see it happening if you use a 360 controller or something else plugged into
but
it.
like if you turn on the controller, it wakes up the Steam Link, which can then make it a direct connection to your
That would be
upstairs
really
computer.
even if it took a little bit longer for to get it all set up. I don't care, but it would just be nice if it did that.
I bet it can, because every time I boot up the Potato Masher, I'm signed into 2 Steam accounts.
Yeah.
And as soon as I boot it up, it says connected to the name of my normal PC, ready to stream. Like it says it automatically. I don't have to do anything else. And it's within a couple seconds.
Yeah,
so I bet the Steam Link will do that.
It will make it a lot easier for me to want to jump on the PC and play a game. You know, or to at least get some more use out of it for some game. Like a game that's coming up that I already have, well, you know, is the new Batman game. So I'm like, well, I already own it. So, I mean, I'll probably give it a shot on PC and try to play it, you know, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I'd rather be downstairs playing on the PS4 or something.
Hey, well, that'll be a fun one because
but maybe
if
it works well, yeah.
You won't likely be on chat when you're playing that. It's not a multiplayer game.
Exactly, yeah.
Let's figure out and get you set up with Steam in-home streaming so you can try using your 360 controller.
I've already got it set up on my I've got it set up on my laptop before.
And you have like a 360 controller you can use and stuff?
Yeah.
Does that work on a Mac laptop? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I didn't know if the 360 controller had driver support.
Yeah, I was playing Dark Souls 2 on my laptop, streaming from upstairs.
Did it work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did.
Okay, cool. Try out Batman. I'm curious to see what you think of that, because that's a game where speed is important. And 60 FPS is not 100% crucial, but it would be really nice if you could do it. It'd certainly make the game look nice. So, yeah, give it a try. I'm curious to see what you think of it. And then Valve also is offering almost unconditional refunds now. If you buy a game within 14 days of the purchase window, and if you've played it for less than 2 hours, you can get a refund, which is pretty awesome. Why didn't they come out with this before they announced paid mods? Because that would have taken... In typical Valve fashion, they could have done a little better on that. But what do you guys think? What do you think about that? I mean, a lot of people have been asking for this for a long time.
I mean, it's like all other consumer goods finally.
Yeah, not all, but they should have had it for as big of a company.
I'm definitely excited about that just because, I mean, okay, Star Wars Battlefront coming up. Oh, wait, which is not going to be on Steam. Well, if it was, it'd be awesome. I could try it and be like, hey, does it work really well on my system? Oh, doesn't. I'm going to have to upgrade. It's not worth it. Bam,
Origin has had a return policy for a long time.
Origin does a lot of things that Valve doesn't do very well. Origin has actual customer support you can talk to.
Yeah,
they have refunds. People give Origin crap for... Well, mostly just because they're attached to EA.
Yeah,
but the actual Origin service itself has been really good for quite a while. And if you remember, when it first came out, we told everyone to give it a chance and just see. So we still don't like EA. They're still kind of scummy as far as companies go. But Origin itself, they've been doing a lot of things right.
I wonder if they're going to have limits. Like,
we'll see. This is very new.
The limits on this said... the limits on the refunds are, you could, if you have more than 2 hours of, like, you played 2 hours of the game, you can't refund it. So you can't refund the game after 2 hours.
Do you mean limits on like how many refunds you can get in a month or something?
Like with like Audible, they have the great listen guarantee or something like that. And the first 2, no questions asked. After that, you actually have to call customer service and deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, I briefly considered, like, would this let me test more games in the Potato Masher? Like, could I buy them as like a demo, test them out, and then if I'm under 2 hours, return them? But like, I think they'll probably, I'm not saying I seriously consider doing that, but that's one of the first thoughts that popped in my head was like, would that work? And I don't think so, because I think they'll probably be watching out for spam or abuse of the system.
Because at the end of the announcement, they said that they're going to be watching for people who do abuse the system, and that there is going to be some discretion involved on Valve's part for how they enforce it. Like,
which is smart. They need to do that.
If you try to treat it like Walmart, where you just return all your crap just to Walmart and abuse the system, you're going to get caught.
Yeah, I think Walmart system's gotten a little crappier from last time you've returned stuff. They're awful.
Oh. Well, I mean, talking to anyone who works at Walmart is awful. You feel bad for them. They hate you. Everyone's sad. It's just not a good system.
There's probably someone getting knifed in the parking lot.
But it is now time for the Potato Patch, part of the podcast where we see what's up in the very, very narrow world of console gaming, where there's not normally new hardware announcements or things, so we can talk about games. And a game collection that everyone knew was coming has officially been announced. The Uncharted collection for the PS4, a collection I am personally very excited about, and Dave, you need to get this. You really need to get this for the PS4.
Joel, I want you to guess how many weeks it's been since I booted my PS4.
It's forever. We know, Dave. You love PC. We know. You don't have to tell us.
6 or 7 weeks, I think.
You don't want to play Bloodborne?
Actually, I do. I just honestly, it's hard to find time to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's so much good stuff right now.
When you played 7 hours of Witcher.
Well, that's the thing is that we're all about The Witcher right
Yeah.
now. I'm gonna come back
Yeah.
to Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I mean, and we'll come back to The Witcher because other things will come out before we're done with it. I'm sure, but yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not done with Bloodborne. But
yeah, definitely not.
But and I hear there's actually some DLC coming out for Bloodborne. We don't know what it
And
is
some
yet.
good,
but it's
some good
coming out.
patches too recently for Bloodborne. So.
Yeah, supposedly the frame rate's gotten quite a bit better, which is good.
And easier co-op.
Really, what have they changed?
Passwords now work across all levels. You put a password in your match, you're matched between all characters.
Good, how it should be. Because they scale the world up anyway, so I'm surprised it took them that long to do it. But good on them. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, we'll get to this probably in the section where we talk about what we've been playing, but Dark Souls 2 worked. Joel and I have been playing, and it's worked every single time.
Good.
I don't know what they've done, but it's a completely different experience than any of the other Dark Souls games that I played.
And this is the Scholar of the First Sin edition on PS4.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice.
All right. But yeah, the first 3 Uncharted games are coming out. It'll be available this fall in like mid-October. And that's to get hype for Uncharted 4, of course. And that will get you into, the multiplayer beta if you buy it. I don't know. I don't know if I'll pre-order this. I'm sure I'll buy it when it comes out because I want to play through them all again. And I want to play through them and have my wife sit and watch because she really enjoyed The Last of Us. She doesn't like playing twin stick things. But she would probably enjoy watching these because they're awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. But now it's time for a topic of the week. I'll turn it over to you guys. What happened?
Turn it
this
over
week,
to
guys?
James.
What happened, James?
What didn't happen yesterday? Oh, God.
A lot of things. What happened?
You guys didn't wear pants for one thing. One thing it didn't happen.
I was at home. James was at home. It was a perfect day. Like, it was... James, that we both...
Was that yesterday?
No, it was
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Gosh, it's all been a dream since then. I've lost so much time in my life because of that.
Why don't you just take everyone through what happened and then we can get back to the...
Yeah. No one knows what you guys are describing yet. This is great.
So Monday, out of the blue, Bethesda did a takeover on their website where when you go to there, it automatically goes to fallout.bethsoft.com.
Yeah.
And it said, please stand by, and it had a 24-hour countdown clock. And so everybody, of course, assumes they're going to talk about Fallout 4, but it just came out of nowhere. And so those 24 hours of just like, oh, we got to find some little nugget of news.
It had that 1950s logo, like the TV, please stand by, classic 1950s standby screen.
Dude, James and I, we were freaking out.
Chat. Look at the chat.
James says, I was at home. James is at home. It was a perfect day. Joel, 2015. Anyway, so we're sitting there. We're watching the clock just tick down. And then finally we're like sitting there. Okay. It like kind of did a little like, I don't know, like fuzz on the TV. I can't remember. We're like, oh, we're waiting. And then
the timer disappeared, and then it was just still on
sitting
there. We're
there.
like,
yeah.
what?
So I checked the YouTube channel, and it was there. I was like, James, here it is. James was so like, don't you dare play it. Don't you dare play it. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, it's loading. It's loading.
there was no guarantee that the trailer was going to.
What loaded, guys? Why don't we tell everyone what it was?
We're getting to the point. We're making
all right.
We're making good radio right now.
And it kept,
Are we?
I mean, already told them.
Yeah.
Well, you thought it was
Fallout
at
4,
least.
yeah. So we sat and watched the Fallout 4 trailer together. Dude, I had chills the entire time. Like, I was so excited. Fallout 3 coming out of the vault for the first time and looking at the apocalypse, just knowing I can explore this. Dude, I was just like, this is happening again. I can't wait. Yeah, James, we watched it how many times?
That was definitely one of my favorite game experiences of all time. Was walking out of a vault for the first time. Just because I'd played exploration games, but there's something about that, seeing a familiar area. I think getting to experience a little bit of that again.
Same feeling as when you go out of the caves in Oblivion, like you first get out of that drain and you're like, oh, look at the woods. And then you turn around and you're like, oh, this is big.
Yeah.
No?
Oh,
okay. All right.
The first time playing was good, but if you
played Fallout 3 for like 10 hours, and that's it. That's the only Fallout I've ever played.
Yeah. But anyways, dude, it was just the trailer just kind of blew me away. Like, I first of all, I really thought it was gonna be a CGI trailer, didn't you, James? Like, I didn't think it was gonna be gameplay.
I thought it was gonna be a lot shorter. I honestly thought it was gonna be like a little
long
teeny
trailer.
quick.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a really quick teaser, and then just maybe a website with standby for more information for E3.
But
Like
yeah,
they they showed the game cases. They showed what systems it's going to be on. I mean, how long was the trailer? Like 3 minutes long?
yeah, it was like 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
It was more just
Bliss.
a teaser. It was like a
Bliss.
full
Yeah, I mean they showed a lot. They really did.
2 minutes of bliss, Joel, 2015.
It was just awesome, man.
So what did they show? What did they show off?
Cities. They showed off Fenway baseball stadium in Boston.
Yeah.
And it's now like a little like trading area, and like there's like a big baseball bat that has like nails in it, and everyone's wearing baseball clothes and stuff like that because I don't know, maybe you find stuff in that area that would have that,
Well, the best part of what they showed was the pre-war footage,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and that's something that Joel and I talked about years ago.
That's what I've
of
always wanted.
doing like a little short film of doing like the Fallout, like actually showing people going into the vault and the bombs dropping and stuff. It was pretty sweet seeing all the old cars and seeing people like panicking and the planes flying overhead and stuff. It was kind of cool.
Because one of the strongest things for the Fallout series is the design of that twisted 1950s, where it's the vision of the future in the 1950s, but just a really unique perspective on it. It's not like completely Art Deco. It's not completely science fiction. It's just it's a really unique style to the entire series. Always has been.
It was amazing how unique. As soon as the trailer started, I was like, "This feels like Fallout. Like this is Fallout." That was really cool, man. But I mean, it felt colorful. It felt like vivid in a lot of areas, but it felt like you were gonna go bright vivid. It felt like you were gonna be able to have lots of different environments, like and exploring.
Now on the bright and vivid thing, some people are upset that the game does not look quite as dire as the previous ones.
Some people are stupid.
Well, no, I'm not agreeing with them. I'm saying they're saying it doesn't look like the style of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas.
Actually, I think it's a good thing. Honestly,
you think it is? Okay.
I mean,
I think it looks fine. There's nothing
number
wrong
one
with
for it to have looked like it did during Fallout. It probably wouldn't have been habitable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that literally probably would have like scorched the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But the feeling I got when watching this is I could actually be walking around outside in that. That looks like what I'm used to seeing when, if I go to an area that's abandoned.
Yeah.
And so I actually like the bright color palette. It looks more realistic.
I think a lot of it, James, has to do with the same thing as like Witcher 3, right? You play it during like at 6 a.m. or like, when the sun's just coming up. It looks like a happy-go-lucky, it doesn't look gritty. It doesn't look like a dark, like, RPG game at all. Like, it looks really friendly. And then as soon as it's rainy and stormy, the game turns into straight up Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah.
I think really it's just the shots they showed off right now. Instead of showing off tons of like apocalyptic looking footage, it's just all like dark and gray or like green or something like that. I think you're gonna find lots of areas that are like that, or especially weather. I think they're gonna have lots of dynamic weather. I think that's gonna be one of their huge things to show off. But I think really just the shots. So I think it's gonna be really desolate, but we're just seeing more of the beautiful like God Ray kind of shots.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to drop in the chat. Somebody did a comparison of all the different like similar landscapes. You can see like it makes. I think Fallout 3 looks hideous.
Yeah, I think a lot of Fallout 3's color scheme was to cover the fact that like there were no environment shadows at all. Like environment objects had no shadows in that game. Zero. You could force ambient occlusion and that was it. And also, have you guys noticed there was a period of games in 2005 to 2010 where brown and green filters were all over everything.
Yep.
Everyone constantly complained about it. But now we have open world games like GTA 5, The Witcher 3, and now Fallout 4 that have a very varied color palette. And now people are complaining about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just called people complain forever.
Yeah,
and the people that like it, they don't go on forums and going, "Hey, I'm super satisfied with this."
Yeah.
No, they're just satisfied and they shut the hell up.
Yeah. I wouldn't read too much into this
blow up.
as we saw with The Witcher 3. Now, Fallout 4 is much farther along in its development than The Witcher 3 was when we first saw footage of it, but it's not 100% done. So things will still change a little bit before it comes out, and I'd wait till you see any actual gameplay, because even though the trailer said it's in game, that doesn't really mean anything, because
it's in engine in a version of the game that was probably a few months ago that's not finished yet, and I'm running on the best computer. Like, it's technically in game, and that's about it.
You need to see a gameplay trailer at the very minimum before you can say, okay, this is kind of what the game is going to look like. Like, so,
and Bethesda, I mean, they've shown like the stuff that they've shown up to is like, I mean, yes, wait till the end.
It's always been accurate in the past.
Yeah, it has been accurate.
That's true.
So I mean, I would say it's safer to trust with Bethesda, but yeah, for most games now, at least nowadays, it's like guys, look at this awesome photo, and then when a game comes out, it's like 2D.
But like The Witcher 3, I think to really get a good idea what the game looks like, you've got to wait for especially for an open world game like this, where there's so many different moving parts that are in development right now. Like, wait until a month before release to get a good look at what it's really going to look like, I think. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of more trailers and footage and stuff along the way.
Cannot wait for those.
I think there's a good chance that we're going to get more Three Dog.
Yeah,
I'd be okay
did you
with
see
this.
the GNN radio in it, Dave?
I didn't see it, no. I've been really busy this week, so I just been kind of riding off of you guys' hype, just letting you drip feed, like fire hose it to me.
That's
your
a
hype.
weird thought.
Drip feed's a phrase.
Yeah.
You guys, Monday, James was like dismantling the CSS on the Fallout website chunk by chunk. It was amazing. I was
freaking out every time he sent me a link.
Then James would send Joel a link, and Joel would like freak out to me. It was just fantastic.
and I freaked out to nobody.
Yeah, I sent Jeremiah like one thing about it, and you said like, oh, that's a thing, I guess. I just like replied back like, you suck, and then just didn't talk for a while.
I have nothing against Fallout at all. It has not interested me in the past. I will of course give it a try. Like I'm not against Fallout at all. I just haven't got around to playing it. Just if I get to be like, you can be upset about that if you want, because I'm upset at you because you haven't played the Mass Effect series, Dave, because you just don't know.
Pretty unforgivable.
You just don't know. At this point,
Fair
I don't
enough.
think I'm not going to go back and play New Vegas or Fallout 3 because I think they'll just feel too dated now.
They felt dated at launch. They were great games with a really rough coat of paint.
I don't want to play Bethesda Fetch Quest now that I'm playing The Witcher. Like, that bar has already been set.
Yeah, that's
I don't
true
think I
too.
want to go back. And I like the fantasy open world RPG setting more than the kind of sci-fi one. So I don't know. I've just never gotten around to it really, but I'll try Fallout 4. I'm sure it'll be a pretty good game.
Sure you'll try it just for the potato masher.
Well, at least for Potato Masher, yeah. It is now time to talk about E3. E3 is coming out soon. When's E3? Or E3 is coming out soon. E3 starts.
I was like, wait, is
Does it
E3
start-
like
is it
It's
released?
the
Sunday?
13th, I believe.
The 13th?
Yeah.
14th.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yep, 14th.
Sweet. So a little over a week and a half, well, about a week and a half from now.
Yeah,
Sunday
with
night?
Bethesda.
10 o'clock, right?
Yeah, back to Fallout.
Yeah, Eastern Standard Time. Dude. Can't wait. That's
Which
going
is
to be a fun night.
which is
I'm
awesome.
getting pizza,
This is the first time
Coca-Cola.
we've ever done anything like this. So
Yeah,
I think
they
they're
haven't
gonna show
done
off
it in the
more
last
than-
couple of years.
they'll show off more than Fallout. But I got a prediction, wishful prediction when we
Ooh,
get to
what
that.
is it? What is
We'll
it?
get to that.
Well, it is now
Alright.
time for E3 predictions. We're going to predict some stuff, what we think is going to happen. The rules are we each get 3 predictions. You need to have 2 backups just in case someone else claims yours. And we're going to go around in a circle and give our predictions pretty quickly. We're going to write them down. And then when E3 is over, we're going to come back and tally up points and decide who has won E3 this year. Or who
Hey,
has won the
Dave,
predictions.
we've already
Actually-
written our predictions in the document, so you pretty much have to.
I only
pick
have
up
one written down. I need to write mine down quickly. I'll go
Well.
first, though, so I can pass it off to
Okay.
James and Joel.
I'll write it
I'm
in
going to
here
interrupt
as you
just
go.
briefly for predictions because I was reminded when you said that, Joel, you owe me an iced coffee as far as Fallout 4 news goes, because I did bet
I
you
know.
that the engine was going to be a modified version of
Well,
Game
we don't know
Brio
that. We don't know
slash
yet.
don't know
We
that.
don't know yet. We don't know that yet.
He says 5 times in a row. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know that yet. We don't know it. We don't know.
I'd
don't
say
know.
you're pretty. I mean, just from the looks of it, it looks like a Skyrim 2.0. You know, like engine.
It's-
I mean, it
it's
looks
a
great,
game-
but yeah. You might be right.
It's Game Brio slash Creation Engine. It looks great. It has real time lighting now. It looks like it has real time shadows. It's improved. But as soon as one of the characters like turned, I was like, Game Brio. I saw it. So I tell you
we'll
what.
see. Let's wait for official word though. Official
Okay,
word.
hold up though, because you don't want to call
Gabriel,
it yet.
it's not Arma.
You don't want to call the bet yet, Joel. You're not confident that I won.
Is
All
there?
right.
I don't call it yet. Sunday.
Raise the stakes
That's
then. All
Sunday.
right. You want to go further, Joel?
I'm not
Double or
raising the
nothing.
stakes. I'm just not going to call it because we don't know 100% yet.
2 iced coffees now, unless you call it now.
Do you sure should we talk about iced coffees right now around Jeremiah?
I feel
Apparently
pretty
has an
good now, guys.
addiction.
I feel
Okay,
pretty
here we
good.
go. Here we go. I'll give you
Okay.
2 ice. I will buy you 4 iced
Here we
coffees.
go. See,
Right?
he always,
At once.
he always go.
Not at once. 4 iced coffees. Right?
Don't ever go to Vegas, Joel. Ever.
I've actually been there. So 4 iced coffees, but if I'm right, the day Fallout comes out, you can't play it that day.
That's not a fair bet at all.
No, I like it. I
No,
like
That's not
I'm
a
it.
fair
saying-
bet at all.
No, I like
you're,
it, Dave.
You're super
Yeah,
secure in what you think it is.
You wanted
So
to double down. The stakes have to be raised because you got to have some skin in the game. I like this.
All right, the bet remains that the engine is not a new engine. It's not Unreal. It's not a new creation engine. It has code from Fallout, from Game Brio, and from Creation Engine.
But
Wait.
here we got to go. So you
Yeah.
think the DayZ engine is absolutely brand new? I would say
no, it's not.
brand new.
It's called Infusion Engine, and of course, it's not brand new.
You said it's a new engine. You said it's essentially a new engine. So is it a new engine since it has old
because
stuff?
they're
So
rewriting so many chunks of it, but they're doing that over the period of years and years and years.
I know,
if you
but
saw
what
it at
I'm-
the
but
end,
what
you'd
I'm
probably say it's a
saying
new
is-
engine. If you see it now, you say no.
yeah. Well, what I'm saying is this a new engine? Even if it has a few bits of the other stuff, since it's taking some stuff, but it's really so refreshed that it's so different. We got to just define the terms because I say the DayZ engine is not new. It's got newer stuff in it, but it's still very much the same engine. It's just a lot of
But-
refreshed
but
stuff.
Okay, we
You
need,
were
we need to say,
confident.
is it
Weeks
a
ago,
new
we-
iteration? How about that? Is it a new iteration of Gambrio? Even if it's Gambrio,
Yeah.
is it a new iteration? Like Crytek, different multiple
Of course
levels.
it is. I'd say it's a whole new. They might even have like a new name for it. But Joel was insistent a few weeks ago that it was going to be like nothing old. It was going to be totally new for the new generation.
I was thinking if they did Fallout, I would figure it'd be a new
Yeah.
engine just because they used the Skyrim engine is now 4 years old now. So yeah, I mean, okay, we'll say I'll give you the 4 iced coffees if there's Game Brio or whatever in it. If that's still a major part of it, and so I'll trust you on that. And I mean,
You're going just based on the name.
what?
You're,
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, if it's like you play it and you're like, oh, it totally has that exact same
What we'll
kind
do,
of feel
Joel,
to it, which is
we'll-
fine. I don't care, but like, it could be a new engine. So.
Once we know more, like maybe in a month or two,
no,
we'll
we're gonna find out Sunday.
We'll pull the
They're
Sons
gonna
of
say
Anarchy.
Sunday.
We'll use the Sons of Anarchy version of deciding things, Joel. We'll bring it to the table and let the club decide who wins.
But you agree on the iced coffees and the not playing Fallout when it comes out.
Now, because Joel
Okay.
left a loophole on the not playing it. You said the day it releases. You can't play it on release day, the official release day. If it leaks like 4 hours before midnight, like it opens up early, you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna play it then, and then just
I
hop
think
in.
that's
No,
going to be worse for Dave.
the entire release day. So if it drops a couple hours early, doesn't matter. The first 24 hours that game is out, you do not play it.
Ooh, wait, let me raise the stakes.
24-hour period.
Let me raise the stakes.
Now,
Hold on.
All right.
He can't buy it until release day and cannot play it.
No pre-release, pre-order goodies.
No preloads.
Now that I can't agree to because there might be a collector's box in my future. You guys see the stack of Witcher books behind me. There are certain series that are near and dear
I'll
to
let
my
him get the
heart.
collectors because I want to get the collectors.
That's fine.
So
It can, the game code can stay
can't be
sealed.
put in anything.
Joel
I
would
think-
enjoy that more if I had the collector's box like on my desk, just staring at it for 24 hours. You'd love that.
I think Dave's stakes have been suitably raised. I'm going to raise Joel's stakes a little bit. There also has to be some tacos in there. 4 iced coffees and a couple tacos. Not tacos
Not
with
at the
every
same
iced
time.
coffee. Just like a few tacos.
Tacos in my iced coffee.
And on release day, you need to bring them to Dave. So he can enjoy the game.
Awesome.
Is that a suitably
Here's the
high stake?
thing is,
That's good.
I raise the stakes because Dave is more confident than I am. So that's the thing.
Oh, okay.
My stakes are still
I'm
higher
not
though, much higher.
I'm not. I don't deal because I'm not 100% confident on my side. But if Dave is that confident, he'd be totally fine. He's like, "Why- you're going to get 4 free iced coffees. Why not?
See, Joel, I lose 24 hours. You lose like a half an hour to speed to my house and get me tacos. Unless you get pulled over, in which case, prison.
You should really make it interesting for Dave. Let him play it, but he can only play it in 1080p Low settings.
Oh,
Low settings.
gross.
I like that. I like that. I like
I
that.
wouldn't play. I
What
wouldn't
if
play.
you get to bring him a PS4 copy from Redbox? Yeah, I like that. Anyway,
Yeah, the low settings would pretty much be not playing it for 24 hours.
I wouldn't play it. Like I'd play The Witcher again.
Dave would leave it on the loading screen and just pout for 24 hours. He has standards.
Yeah,
Have
we
eyes.
can play Uncharted.
You can't play it the first. You can't play it the first day it's out. And I'll give you 4 coffees and 2 tacos.
All right, sounds good.
a serving of tacos, which is
Yeah,
usually
well,
3.
so 3. We'll do 3
Wow,
tacos.
Dave, man, you're just twisting that.
I know
knife.
my tacos.
All right, it's now time for E3 predictions. I'm going to go first because someone wrote my name first on the list. I predict the new AMD flagship card, which we know is going to be announced at E3, so that's not part of the bet. I think it is going to be $600. That's my prediction for the price. Unofficially, I predict it is going to be exactly as fast as the 980 Ti within like 5 or 10%. I don't think it's going to blow it away. All right.
But will they solve the cooling issue?
Yeah, we already know it's going to be liquid cooled, so bing.
Well, it was rumored.
And as far as the cooling issue, it's not really a cooling issue because they're just as hot as NVIDIA cards from a generation ago, and the Titan X's memory modules get hotter. They're not like my 970 cards run just as hot as my 290 did. The difference is
your 2 overclocked 970s.
my 290 was
is your
overclocked.
1 290.
Yeah,
You had
but
two.
my 290 was overclocked. But I'm able to get my 970s under control easier, which does matter. Adding more fans has slowed them down some. So, yeah, but that's my prediction. James, you're next.
All right, let me pull up.
We're just doing one at a time.
Yeah, we're doing one at a time.
Most of my list is just wishful thinking. Well,
That's
except
fine.
the last one.
Twice
I'm
fun.
going to predict Red Dead Redemption is going to get announced.
Like a new one? Next gen or a
Yep.
relaunch? Okay.
New one.
Okay.
It's time.
Everyone knows it's time.
I mean, GTA has been on every possible console except mobile, which will probably get announced too.
Give it 10 years. There'll be a terrible version for the Apple
Oh
Watch.
god. Oh.
You're just like trying to control it with your
I mean,
fingers.
is that
You
any more
can't see them.
sacrilegious than the iPad version?
It's awful. GTA 3 was so bad.
Yeah.
Mobile.
But, okay. So Red Dead Redemption 2, we'll call it. Okay. Joel.
Borderlands 3.
Okay. Officially announced?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Dave?
My first prediction is that the Arma 3 train is being announced at the PC Gamer Conference will be in Africa. And this is actually someone else's
Now,
work that
fake Africa? Like, not a real Africa or really Africa?
the continent of Africa. There's like a teaser website for the new terrain for the expansion pack. It's like the big, kind of like Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead was, like a standalone expansion pack, new terrain, new factions, all that stuff. But they have a teaser website up that has a constellation in the background. And someone's been doing some research on Reddit today. The star constellations in Arma are accurate. And when you go to Altus and look at the stars, you can actually triangulate where the island is, and it actually matches with the Greek island in real life. So someone did it with a star pattern on this teaser website, and it's in Africa. And I'm pretty confident, looking through all the other stuff today, that it's going to be in Africa terrain, which is pretty
Okay.
cool. It's a new area
All right.
for Arma.
My next prediction. Left 4 Dead 3 will be announced / teased as a part of the PC gaming show that's going to be going on, and I think they're going to announce it as a way to show off Source 2.
That's a
running
very
something.
good. That's a very good prediction.
Because if
honestly.
you remember when they first announced Source 2, they showed a
there were some like leaked images of
there was
some,
leaked images of one of the maps from Left 4 Dead 2 remade in Source 2. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
thinking
don't know
that's
if that was actually completely legit or not. I don't.
it looked really legit.
It
Who
looked
knows?
legit.
If it was a
but,
fake, someone was
dude, I
fast.
love a Left 4 Dead 3. Oh,
Yeah.
please. That's
you-
going to be
do you
like our
think
new
they're gonna-
payday.
You think they're going to stick with the formula before, or do you think they're going to try to compete with the other zombie games out there?
I think it's going to be a mix.
I think they should stick to what they're doing because it's a zombie game that's really good, released, and everyone likes and runs great. So I don't think they should touch that at all. More maps, better graphics.
I mean, they could go the Dying Light route and kind of go area to area to area instead of having like load screens and stuff.
Oh, without the load screens and stuff, that would be cool. Yeah, if they did that.
Just I mean, at least the illusion of being open world.
As far as the overall gameplay concept, no, I hope they don't change anything.
I always thought it'd be awesome if you have a couple different areas that are just open world, and then each quest or mission just goes to different areas, and so everything kind of like the whole map can kind of change a lot, you know. But so it's still open world. It's just you just go to different areas, so it might be as I don't know. I'm excited. That's a good prediction.
All right, James, what's your next prediction?
Me again?
Yeah, well, we're going in order.
This is the... I think Nintendo is going to be underwhelming this year. I mean, I think they'll show off Zelda, and at this point...
This year.
I mean, well, yeah, every year. But
well,
I mean...
I knew what you're saying. They've already... Yeah, go ahead.
If you look at the fanboys, I mean, you think every E3, their announcements are the best. But, like with Witcher and other games like that now, I think Zelda is becoming a little less exciting to me.
Yeah.
It's still fun, but it's getting a little kiddish.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've already released Smash Brothers and a Super Mario game, Mario Kart. Like, we don't know of any big...
Yeah, I think they'd have to like...
We know Star Fox.
Talk about a... Yeah,
Star Fox.
Star Fox, a new Metroid or something.
Star Fox. We'll need you to send these forms right over. Quick, scan it.
I need a pet me up for my Star Fox.
I didn't say pet, so you can make fun of me all you want.
I think they will talk about the NX, maybe mention it, but...
They need to do something. Have you seen the sales numbers for the Wii U? Oh, it's worse than the GameCube. It's bad. They're doing like... They're selling Dreamcast numbers, which if you've been gaming for a while...
Not that bad.
Yes.
Not that bad.
Yes, the Dreamcast sold... Actually, was it the Dreamcast or the Saturn sold more units, and it was on market less time than the Wii U has been? Wow. I'm going to look that up.
I think what failed pretty bad for the Wii U is the gamepad. It's not bad. The gamepad's nice. It's still really big, and it makes it frustrating for all the other controllers. Like, even playing Mario, like, okay, someone has the big controller, but to be able to start the game, you need the main gamepad, but to switch to the other controller, then you get a couple press. It was, I don't know, it's a little annoying.
They are a fantastic game company. They're
an amazing game company.
Awful hardware company.
They need to just start. They're putting stuff on mobile now. They just need to start making things for PlayStation and Xbox officially.
Oh, I mean, the decisions they've made in the last few months, like
not the last few months, the last couple decades.
Well, I mean, yeah, last few decades. But I'm specifically they've slowed down all the releases on the Virtual Console, which, and honestly, should be their big money maker. Mm-hmm. I mean, I honestly like playing on the little pad. The only reason I do it is I only look at the screen. Mm-hmm. Like it's a nice like lay down and play type system. But
okay, so I don't have anything from like the past 2 or 3 months, but as of midway through last year, the Dreamcast was already officially support ended by that point in its life cycle. Like it had already been killed, and it had sold almost double as many as the Wii U.
Wow.
Let's see if this scares you. Mario Kart. If there's a safe bet for a Nintendo system, it's Mario Kart. 1.6 million units as of April this year. That is a failure. That is a failure. 1.6 million units is really like bad. That's what a small breakout game should sell. Like if the surprise of
Mario
last
Kart
year
has a big budget on it.
Yes, like if Shadow of Mordor, if that sold 1.6 million units, you'd be like, wow, that did a little better for a game that like not a ton of people were excited for. Yeah. But like Mario Kart, that should be
and
like
I think
7
all
million.
1.6 million is all 1.6 million Wii U's that are out there.
I mean, something like 10 million Wii U's. The PS4 has already doubled like the number of Wii U's, and it's been out for what, a year and a half less time. Like, that's bad. That's really bad.
It's a shame because there's some really good games on the Wii U. Like, there's some obviously by Nintendo. They just need to let someone else play them.
Well, and that's they put out an underpowered console with another gimmick. They didn't understand.
Their name was horrible.
Yes, they didn't understand what made the Wii successful. The Wii was successful because it was part of the cultural zeitgeist. Because it had those cool motion control games. It had motion control that people actually wanted to play, and it was cutesy, and it was accessible, and it was super hard to get, which of course drives the demand up. And then if you look at the attach rate for Wiis, which is how many games are sold like per person who buys them, it was less than 1, I believe, because most people bought it. It was bundled in with Wii Sports. They played that, and most of them never bought anything else. So many people bought Wiis who don't game. They bought Wiis to play Wii Sports, and they put them up and never played them again. And so I think Nintendo got cocky. They did what Sony did with the PlayStation 3, and they did what Microsoft did with the Xbox One. They thought, wow, our last one was such a huge success. How could we fail? Let's give them some cool new features, and no one cared. And now either their next what's the NX is the code name for their next console. Maybe.
Who knows?
It's going to have to be
It's supposed
amazing.
to be some kind of weird hybrid thing.
Yeah, well, they don't need that. They need a straight-up games console that people actually want to put stuff on. They spent the 90s and 2000s alienating a bunch of third parties by super restrictive rules for putting games on their consoles, and guess what? The GameCube was the last Nintendo console anyone wanted to put a game on, and it was already pretty bad.
Could you imagine if Nintendo, like, I mean, this would be pulling it out of their butts if someone was like, you know what, we're doing it. What if they come out of the console?
They got to pull it out of somewhere besides their heads, because it's not working up there.
They announce a little, like, tease it a little bit this year. Next year they release it. It's got like 16 gigs of RAM. It's just insane. And it wipes the floor. Like, I mean, I don't think they would ever do it. But could you? I mean, then what if they come out with a game like, oh yeah, next Zelda game, it's 4K, or it's just something ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, that would be the only way that you could probably get people to come back to it. Like, oh crap,
I don't know if they could.
I don't know if they ever would, or if they have the money to do it.
They need to realize that their market now. They should make a little micro console and do a streaming service. I think with their old catalog. I think that would do well.
That would be good.
Do that, put all their games on mobile, and then focus on the 3DS, which people still like, and realize that they need to focus
the rest
a
of the
lot
games
on
on.
because the 3DS,
the 3DS is a third-party company.
They could, and the 3DS I think is probably their last successful handheld because phones are too popular now, and phones are only going to get more popular. They're already more powerful. Some of them are more
3DS
powerful.
is still doing ridiculously well.
It is, but I think this is going to be the last one because the 3DS had a very rocky launch. The 3DS
It's cool. It's also
wasn't
sad
good
a little
for
bit just because I'm like, phone games just can't compare to 3DS games. Like when it comes to just overall how it is. Like there's some really awesome iPhone games, of course, but you're so limited to only just touch. Where it's kind of nice having a D-pad and like a controller on it.
I agree.
Portable, yeah. That it's only the sad thing. I'm like, crap. Kind of miss like I don't know if they'll make another one again. I don't know if they will be able to do it. Who knows?
Yeah,
I think we should have a whole podcast dedicated.
We could actually
to what Nintendo needs to do.
We'll set that up as a topic coming up. I like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Cool.
Back to the predictions. Joel, what's your next one?
A Quantic Dream game. The people that made Heavy Rain. I have a
Okay.
feeling they're going to announce a new game.
We know they're working on something, so that's not part of the thing. But you're thinking they will
It's going to be specifically announced there.
they'll specifically announce what they're
Like
working
there'll
on.
be like yeah.
Man, Sony needs to announce what like 12 of their first-party studios are doing. Like they need to announce something. So I
think this year is going to be insane. I think this year is going to be insane.
It needs to get insane sometime soon. The console will have been out for 2 years this holiday season, and a lot of their first-party studios have not released anything. If you look at how many new IPs had released in the PlayStation 3's first 2 years, like I know they're working on stuff. I mean,
I think we're going to see a first-party barrage.
I hope so. I'd be okay with that.
E3.
If there was like 4 new IPs from Sony
Dude,
this
I
fall.
kind of want them to slow down a little bit. Dude, there's so many games this year.
There's
James
so
and I
many-
put together a list, and it's kind of insane.
There's always
We're
a lot
just
of
like,
games,
oh
but
my
there's so
gosh.
many awesome indies and stuff coming out. But new IP, AAA, major blockbuster games, there's not a lot of those right now.
No, I'm just saying gaming in general. Just
Games
this
in
whole
general,
year for
yes,
all
but
of
like
everything.
But
I'm just
Sony's
like, oh, crap.
system sellers, they need some more system sellers. I've got a prediction coming up on that. Dave.
I'm going to say that after the long break in AMD driver releases with the
6
launch of the new
months.
cards, 6 months since the official driver release, I think we're going to hear announcements about all their software suites, their recording software, their driver update plan to go along with the new cards. I think
And you
they're
think
going to
they're going
announce
to do
some
that at the
changes.
PC Gamer
At E3?
E3 show? Well, they're hosting
Yeah.
the PC show with PC Gamer. Like they're putting it on. So if they want to make announcements, that's the time to do it.
I think it's going to coincide with the new cards. Like, hey guys, new cards are out. We know that drivers have been slow. We're changing the program. Like maybe a GE Force Experience type of suite where it's like all in one, not required, but making it easier to record and do all that stuff. Because even the AMD recording software, I tried it and like it's everything's separate and split and it's not.
They're behind.
Horrible.
They're just behind NVIDIA.
Yeah.
NVIDIA sucked at it for a while too, but
exactly.
I'm hoping AMD realizes how much people are rooting for them to be really good this year.
Yeah,
there are a
for
lot
sure.
of people upset at NVIDIA for a couple different issues, most of them perceived, most of them not significant. Maybe the 3.5 gigabyte RAM issue is maybe more significant, but a lot of people are upset at NVIDIA and are tired of paying NVIDIA money, and they want AMD to be awesome. And even though the R9, 290, and 290X are still great cards, there are people who want something new. They want new and shiny, and they've been seeing NVIDIA's been putting out new shiny stuff for 7 months now, and AMD has done nothing. And people are thinking like, hey, give us something. We want something. Give us something. So I really hope that they do that, Dave. I hope they just come out of the gate swinging, because like I don't feel bad for Intel or Nvidia. They can go cry themselves to sleep on their money and their 75% market share, but I want AMD to be like, okay, our new processors, 8 cores, 16 threads, core for core, we can compete with, Intel, and I don't care if it's $500. I don't care about the money. I want them to be competitive. I want whatever the Fury or whatever the new card's going to be. I want it to be, like I said, like $600, water cooled, and like this big, like it looks in the pictures, and available today. Like AMD has the power to come out swinging if they really want to,
and people are rooting for them for sure.
They really are. So yeah, I hope you're right.
So what's going to be the AMD push game wise?
Game wise, they were bundling in GTA and
what's going to be their show off game?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, what's the big PC games coming out this fall? It makes sense to team up.
Division.
Division's been pushed.
Oh yeah, you're right.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe Fallout.
No.
What big? We need to be a PC exclusive for it to really matter.
I don't think it's gonna be Batman.
You think it's
Batman
something off
traditionally is Nvidia.
something with Unreal? Maybe Doom.
Doom would be a get.
That would be big.
That would be a big get. It's definitely not going to be Batman because that's bundled in with Nvidia cards.
I mean, I know they're going to talk about it Sunday night, but to actually do some gameplay footage,
that would be
off the card specs.
That would be impressive. Yeah, if you showed it running like Doom 4K 60 FPS, people would talk. As long as Doom looks as good as it has in the past. Yeah, that'd be cool. My next prediction and last prediction is I think a major gameplay focus of Sony's press conference. I think they're going to show off Metal Gear Solid and we're going to get like 5-10 minutes of gameplay easy. I think they're counting on Metal Gear Solid 5 to be a system seller this fall because we know that one's coming out. And I think they're probably going to announce Gran Turismo and some other stuff like that. But I think they're going to spend a lot of time on Metal Gear Solid and show off how awesome it's supposed to be. I think that's
you mean the Harry Potter wand thing is not going to be a system seller this year?
Dream Book, whatever it's called.
Dream Book or Magic Book, whatever. Dude, that was awesome because not what is it? It was just like a 5-minute thing. It was a 20-minute presentation. Like I don't understand that. Like why 20 minutes for that?
That was a rough.
That was a rough.
Yeah, I mean, it was very rough, but it was just hilarious. Like, why 20 minutes? Okay, sorry.
Anyway. So why do you think that'll be the big push versus the other systems?
Because
I mean, I know they've got the relationship in the past.
Because they've got the relationship, and I think Xbox has some other big stuff they want to focus on, like the Gears collection and the next Gears of War's game, the next Halo game. Like, there's some obvious Xbox games are coming. Forza 6. But for Sony, it's a little up in the air. Like, you have to assume they're working on a bunch of things. Like, there's got to be a new God of War game. They're going to show off Uncharted 4. Like, they're going to show off some games. But when they're looking for system sellers with their hardcore audience, like, they need an Uncharted game. They need Metal Gear Solid. They need Gran Turismo, maybe God of War. Like, that's what Sony needs to show off if they want to move systems. So I think that's why I think they're going to.
Well, I imagine they're going to put a big focus on Project Morpheus too.
Yeah, I hope so. They are. It has been actually confirmed. There's going to be a lot of Morpheus stuff this year.
The problem with that is it's really hard to show off VR unless, like Joel said, everyone in the audience gets to use one. Which I think logistically, I doubt they can do that unless it's a canned demo. But it would be cool if they could do it. I'm sure they're going to have it big at their booths where you can come by and try it. Yeah. But like during a press conference, I don't know how you can show off VR because anyone on stage they have doing it's going to be a shill. They're going to be acting like, "Wow, this is amazing," because that's their job. So you can't like
pick me, I'll do it.
You can't get that excited about that. But I'm hoping they do some way of showing off. Basically, they show off to the public just like Oculus does and like Valve does. Why do we care about VR? People have tried to say it's amazing. Okay, but we haven't tried it, so why do we care? Show off something that's going to be incredible. Like, show that the next Call of Duty game is going to run on Morpheus at 60 FPS and the Morpheus costs $200 or something. Personally, I still don't think Morpheus is going to be a success because it's Sony, but I would love to be wrong. Like, I want to at least have virtual reality have a fair shot, so someone please do a good job. James, what's your last thing?
My last one is wishful thinking.
That's what predictions are for.
Hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams. I hope that for the fans out there, since HD remasters are a big thing, I'm hoping they do a Fallout collection. Just my hope. Just
now,
for
which games?
3 in New Vegas.
And you want an HD re-release?
Yeah.
James, instead of like an HD texture release, can we get like a Fallout Shadows edition maybe? Just like, please.
Now, all right, so HD re-releases, that's kind of dumb because they were technically in HD last time. What are they going to call it on the next generation? Like the Ultra HD re-release? No, because the next generation won't be playing on 4K.
No, because I mean, just the next one will just be called HD. I mean,
that's dumb because that'll be the third.
But here's the thing: is like people going from 1080p to 4K. After you get used to 4K for everything, you're not going to be calling 1080p HD anymore.
Well, no,
you know what I mean?
It actually is. It's actually,
but people won't call it that. I'll agree with Joel here.
720p,
I'm just saying that just the
720p
term's
is
gonna
HD.
just change, yeah.
FHD, full HD is 1080p. Ultra HD is 4K, and I agree. All these names are really stupid. Not as stupid as WQHD, which is 1440p.
Yeah, what is that?
But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, sorry, the name just kind of bothers me.
Shane says Connect 3.0. No. The Star Wars Connect too. Oh gosh.
It'll be a tie-in, an official movie tie-in. You have to buy the Connect.
Han Solo actually dances with Boba Fett.
Oh yeah. Joel, what's your wishful thinking game that I see in the list?
Yeah. Well, just like every year, it's going to be another Half-Life 3 hope.
I mean, if they were going to launch on anything, launch it on the Steam OS. That'd be cool.
I know.
That would move some units.
I say it now a little bit for fun because I've done it every year, so one of these years I'm going to be right. and maybe.
I don't know.
But, yeah. But this year they are having a PC-centered stage, so that they've not done that in a very long time. Like,
I'm so excited for that.
Like
E3 is going to be awesome.
6 years.
But man, those conferences are normally cringy enough. Bunch of PC gamers doing it.
Yeah, they're all going to be stupid, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
You never. I think there's going to be some maybe possible Doom footage shown off at the PC stage as well, because it'll probably be shown off first on the Bethesda thing, but then it would also be shown off on the PC thing to talk about graphics, I'm sure.
You know what, Joel? It would make me so happy if they announce Half-Life 3 at this E3, because you've been going on and on for a month now about how you're kind of over the whole PC thing. You're ready to go back to your couch. They announced Half-Life 3. Dude, I would watch your single tears. You ordered a second 980 and a third 980, an extra power supply, a 4K screen. You know you would by the end of the year when it came out.
And then I would go right down to my PS4. You know, that's
play like 5 hours. Like, I like to be downstairs. My wife.
No,
on
that
the
game
couch.
I would absolutely play on PC because I love the PC controls for that game. It's just
And PS4.
of course I'd buy it all. It's the same thing I'm going to buy Fallout for on every system.
I've never been wrong about you buying more than one copy.
Yeah, it's the easy bet though, James. It's cheap.
Yeah, sure. No one's going to take
But
that bet.
Half-Life 3, I'm not going to buy the PS4 version right away because I'm going to play the shit out of it
You
on
wait
PC
like a
right
day,
through.
2 days. I mean, you got standards.
You waited 1 day to buy Witcher 3.
Well, you have to remember,
Less than a day.
There was
Less than a day.
There was some passion going that day. There was some high intensity passion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was I was frustrated. I was frustrated and I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and it was just like, if I just want to play this game, and I just got frustrated.
I just want to play this game, so I'll just give them more money and then wait 3 hours while it installs, and then I'll just play this game.
That'll ease my frustration.
That's a good quick stress relief.
Well, I don't understand. You have a freaking 100-inch screen in your living room, yet you don't use it to play games on.
I do something.
I find that so dumb. Like, your PC's right, like, yeah, I got a 4K screen on a tiny little monitor.
I mean, a 4K 27-inch monitor.
Yeah, 27
And
inch.
you have a nice
I have a 27-inch
couch, too.
monitor.
Nice, comfy,
Yeah,
reclining
huge,
couch.
I have
nice
a nice,
couch.
comfy desk chair I can recline in.
No, it does. Your feet don't
It does
come
recline.
up.
My feet reach the floor, James.
Your feet reach the living room, Jeremiah.
I do tote it out. My PS4 is still in the living room from last weekend. I haven't turned it back on, but it's still out there. The biggest reason it stays in my office is because I need to record footage for the potato masher.
Yeah,
I've got to
that
tote
makes
it in
sense.
there. And then it's just convenient to leave it in there.
But why
I
can't you just run an HDMI cable from the living room? I mean, I could have done that on mine if I wanted to. I don't know why I haven't done it yet.
I still think you should, Joel. I mean,
I have
I'm
one
not doing
HDMI
that
cable.
here.
The HDMI cable is already there, actually. I don't have to run it. It exists. I would just have to plug it in. I don't know. I could.
Okay, who's
Dave,
next?
what's your last prediction?
For my last prediction, I'm going to go for a GTA 5 standalone expansion. Kind of like the zombies.
I'm not going to make this part of your prediction, but who's going to announce that? Because Rockstar doesn't typically... They don't have their own press conference. So who's going to get that?
I'm going to bet PS4 Sony conference.
Okay, cool. But that's not part of the bet, just to be clear. You're betting there's going to be a standalone expansion.
I don't think it's super likely, but I think that the timing would be right because it's out on all platforms. The base game is now. It's mostly stable. They have some small DLCs planned. I can see an expansion. There's a chance.
All right,
We'll see.
Those are our predictions. We're going to leave them in there, and
I do have since we've already made our in stone ones.
Okay.
What do you guys think about BioShock? Any continuation in that series? Possible?
Not this year. I don't think.
Not this year.
Well, there's that
Next
rumor
year.
of that one game called Advent or something like that. People were kind of theorizing that it could be a BioShock. Like the idea of it and the tone of it sounds like a BioShock type game. Have you heard of it? I think it's called Advent.
I mean, it's been a couple years. I guess it wouldn't be crazy for there to be a new game.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Dave? Did you see that? It was like
I
a
don't
picture of a
think so.
skyline of a city, and the logo kind of. To me, it just had that feeling of BioShock. Like even the website is all about like how like the life is in that town or in the city and stuff like that. It just sounded a lot like BioShock to me. So who knows?
You think we'll see anything about Minecraft?
No.
Really? Because I mean, they just bought them this year. This would be a good time to
I know.
announce
But
something
it's
exclusive.
It's Microsoft. It makes them tons of money. I don't know.
Right,
What
but
if
to
they- what
announce
if they showed
something
off-
exclusive.
What if they showed off Morpheus and it runs Minecraft on the PS4? Like in a
They're
I
not.
don't know.
Microsoft owns Minecraft. They're
Oh,
not-
yeah.
yeah. That's
Okay.
that.
So
if
But I mean,
it's
it's,
back
not
to
gonna
my-
happen-
it's still on the PS4.
Yeah, mine's
though.
looking
It's
a
still
little
on the
more realistic,
PS4.
isn't
It is on the PS4, but they're not going to let them show off cool new tech for Minecraft on the. It's on the PS4 because they don't have to do anything and it makes them money. Like it behooves Microsoft to have it available on every platform possible, but they're not going to let them show off cool new technology on it. There's no
I could
way.
see them doing some timed exclusive stuff
Maybe, yeah,
in their conference.
yeah, that'd be cool. All right, it's now mail time.
Mail
You can
time.
write into the show, casualshenanigans@gmail.com, to be a part of the show, just like Ronikand, Connor. His name's Connor. I don't understand his screen name. He says, "Hello, I love your podcast and I think it's great. Thanks, Connor. I'm currently working through the backlog of episodes and I'm on the Loot Cast, and I had a question for Dave. Have you ever played the board game Settlers of Catan? I think you would enjoy it because you get so much loot during the end game. So many sheep."
Everyone has told me that. I should probably try it one day. I get that a lot, actually.
You would
You're a
probably like
homeschooler
that
and you
game.
haven't played Settlers of Catan? You failed.
All right.
Actually, I never played it till I was in college.
I'll take your word for it, nerd.
It's an alright game. I don't really care. I mean, it's okay, but like I'd rather play Risk or Monopoly or something. I'm a purist when it comes to board games.
Did someone say Risk? Now you have my attention.
All right, it's Samuel. He wrote in before with some upgrade questions. He's writing in again. He said, "I'm thinking about postponing my upgrades following your advice. My following question would be about power, and do you think I have the capability of plugging a new graphics card in the future without going over my power supply?" He has an FX 8150 8-core processor, Asus Sabertooth motherboard, 8 gigs of memory, regular hard drive, blah, blah, blah. He has a Radeon 7870 graphics card and a Corsair 850-watt power supply. He's asking, can he plug in a new graphics card in the future without going over his power supply? Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
An
Yeah,
850
definitely.
watt power supply will run dual 980s, no problem. It'll run dual Titan X's, no problem. Honestly, it'll probably run triple 980s, no problem.
And a window air conditioning unit.
Any single graphics card will run without a sweat on that system, and pretty much any dual one. The only thing you want to double check, and it's a Corsair Enthusiast power supply, so it probably has enough, but just double check how many amps you have on your 12-volt rail, and make sure you have enough amps to run 2 graphics cards and your processor and whatever else. But if it's just one graphics card you're getting, you don't even have to worry about it. Literally buy any single graphics card that's available, it'll work.
Yeah, that's a great power supply. Nice sweet spot.
Then Chris wrote in. He said, "Hey, guys, just wanted to get your opinion on an upgrade to a GTX 970. Like Dave, I've been keeping track of deals, and before taking the leap, I want to make sure it's a good idea and that my power source can handle it. My goal is to play games like GTA 5 and The Witcher 3 at 1080p, 60 FPS. His current specs are an FX 6300 running at 3.5 gigahertz, which is not overclocked, 8 gigs of RAM, an R9 270, and an FSP RM Gold 500-watt power supply, which if you've never heard of it, that's a really good, high-end, not super popular brand.
Is it? Really?
Yeah.
Never heard of it before, huh?
Look him up. He says, can my power supply handle the upgrade? And is there any room to overclock my CPU or the GTX 970? If I need to upgrade the power supply, are there any you recommend? Thanks for your help and keep up the good work. Okay, so first question. Can my power supply handle the upgrade? Yes. A 970 doesn't use a ton of power. You could probably run 2 970s, but I would not do it on a 500-watt power supply.
Yeah,
But
it's a little bit low for 2.
You can definitely upgrade. The 970 doesn't really use any more power than the R9 270. So, is there any room to overclock your CPU or the GTX 970? Yes, absolutely. And you should definitely overclock your 970. They overclock very well, and you can get close to a stock 980 if you overclock it. And I think you need to overclock your power supply. Okay, I was wrong about his power supply. It's not like an incredibly high-end power supply, but it's pretty nice. Like it's very, very solidly mid-tier, 80+ gold. It's a good power supply.
Did you say he should overclock his power supply? Because I'm pretty sure I heard that.
I didn't mean to. I was looking
That
at the power
sounds
supply
so
when I said it.
dangerous.
No.
Let's overvolt.
You
can actually overclock your house.
If you want to play at 1080p and 60 FPS, I think you should probably overclock your processor, just because that processor is very easy to overclock, and it's going to start bottlenecking a 970. The good news is, if you don't have a good CPU cooler, I'll make it really easy for you. Get a Cooler Master Hyper 212. It doesn't matter if it's the Evo or the Plus or whatever subversion. Just get a Hyper 212, slap it on there, and with, I don't know what motherboard you have, but with pretty much any AMD motherboard, you can easily get it up to like 4.2, 4.3 gigahertz, and that will give your 970 a little extra breathing room. And heck, some people are getting like 4.6, 4.7 gigahertz. If you need any help figuring out what to do on your motherboard, let us know. But I would definitely overclock it. Definitely overclock your 970, and you can totally handle that upgrade. And we have one more 970 question. Comes in from Nate. And we already talked to him on last week's podcast. He has another question, though. He was picking out a graphics card, and he saw there was a really good deal on a GeForce GTX 970 on Newegg for $325. Then he went to the review section, and he saw some people complaining about the 3.5 gigabyte VRAM issue. I looked up some articles about it on the internet, and I saw conflicting views that it's a waste of money to buy because of that issue, and some people say it's nothing to worry about. I was wondering if you guys could give me a solid answer to the question, and if the GTX 970 isn't a good buy, what is? I'm willing to
I got this one for you, Jeremiah.
He's not done.
Oh, is there more?
Yeah. I'm willing to spend $400 and below on a GPU. Thanks and keep up the great work. P.S. Would The Witcher 3 run at high settings with 60 FPS with the GeForce GTX 970? Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I got this one. For the Witcher 3 question first, for the 970, with Hairworks off, 60 FPS, 1080p, definitely. Hairworks on, expect drops, but pretty close to that too.
Unless you can do an any tweak. If you're techie enough that you want to tweak the configuration settings manually, there are people online that have already figured it out. You can easily get a lot of that Hairworks performance back. Or just leave it off because it looks fine.
I disagree. I like Hairworks.
It looks fine. No, I didn't say it looks great without it. I say it looks fine without it. You can play the game without it. Yes. Okay, so
it does look okay. It looks pretty good without it.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as the 3.5 gig memory issue goes, that's kind of close to home for me because I returned a card over that. In my opinion, NVIDIA was definitely in the wrong for launching the card with at least, at best, incorrect specs. At worst, they were a little bit deceptive about the specs. I returned my card because I had the opportunity to do so, but real world performance, it's not a huge issue. We all have had 970s now at this point, I think, except for James. The cards, even in SLI, work great. Now that the true specs of the card are known and the price has dropped, you can get a 970 for $299 shipped right now within like a week. Just watch for a deal on sleepdeals.net. The RAM really is not an issue. It was an issue when it was incorrectly posted. It's not really a performance issue now.
And just to kind of piggyback off that, I don't know what resolution you're playing at, but I'm playing at 4K. And if I max out every setting with SLI 970s, crank the MSA up, to like 2x at 4K, you don't need a ton more than that.
Crank it up to 2.
Well, turn it on and run the textures on the highest settings and stuff. Everything that uses VRAM, in most games, I use between 2 and 3 gigabytes at 4K. Most games do not use that much VRAM. They just don't. And as with anything on the internet, a lot of the people talking about how crappy it is and how much NVIDIA screwed them over don't own the cards or have never pushed them to their limits or don't really know what they're talking about. As with many things on the internet, I have stressed my cards as hard as I possibly can, trying to get them to break because Dave was kind of waiting on me to do that before he could buy it. The only game I've had issues with was Shadow of Mordor, and the issue was more of it doesn't officially support SLI, so my SLI usage kept going all over the place, and I would get like weird hitching because of that. But if I ran in single card mode, I was running at steady over 4 gigabytes of VRAM usage, and it never stuttered because it was running out of VRAM. And I know what that looks like because when I tested on the potato masher, I got loads of VRAM stuttering while I was adjusting the settings. So I'm very familiar with what that looks like, and it was not doing it. The VRAM was not an issue. Will that change in the future? I don't know, but right now, especially if you're playing at 1080p, the GTX 970 is one of the best performance buys you can get. If you want an alternative, you're willing to spend $400 and below. I don't think there's anything at the $400 price point that's worth spending your money on unless a 980 drops in price. But if you don't have a lot of allegiance to NVIDIA, you can pick up an R9 290 brand new for $230, and it's an amazing card for the price if your power supply can handle it, which it probably can. And if you're okay with a slightly warmer card, and if you don't have some big NVIDIA allegiance, the R9 290 is a beast. So
Yes.
I would throw that out there as a possible alternative. Or if you're not in a big hurry, wait a couple weeks. See what happens when the new AMD cards come out. NVIDIA might drop a bunch of prices. Like, you don't know. There might be $250 970s in a month
That's
or so.
a good point. I think for anyone looking to buy a graphics card over the next few weeks, just wait. For this month especially, there's a lot of stuff going on. Prices are shifting, launches are happening. Just wait.
Yep. All right. And it is now time for 90 Seconds with Joel, part of the podcast where Joel talks about whatever he wants for 90 seconds. Joel, what's up?
Hey, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a PC laptop. I mean, I had one a long time ago, and sleep mode's never really worked insanely well on Windows. It's kind of like a, I don't know, like a hit or miss. Like you'll close it, sometimes it'll sleep. Like if you have a certain program open, sometimes it just can't close it down, or it can't like put it into sleep mode. It doesn't work. I haven't used sleep mode on PC for a very long time, but I've just been curious. Does sleep mode work very well lately?
Yeah,
like,
fine.
and is it good to just leave it in sleep mode for forever? I mean, like my MacBook Air, I never shut it off, like ever, unless I have to restart something. It's always in sleep mode, and it works just. I don't ever see like after like months of usage where it's like, oh, it's slowing down. The only time it generally slows down is when there's a new operating system that comes out, you know, and you have less RAM or something for it.
That's a complicated answer because it depends on, because with Macs, like there's a more limited variance in the computers you might be using that sleep mode on because there's only so many Macs. I'll say on my laptop, sleep mode works perfectly fine, and I use it when I'm traveling. It has an SSD. The battery was already pretty decent, and I exactly what you do. I just shut the lid and I open it back up, and it's just there. Like it's like I never even shut it off. And there aren't really any issues. I never use it on my desktop because I just turn it off if I'm done with it. Like my desktop there's no advantage to being in sleep mode. I never need to quickly move my desktop around.
Yeah.
Is that Windows 8 for both of those, Jeremiah?
8.1 for both. Both running on identical Samsung 840 Pro SSDs. So if that makes the comparison any easier.
I know that Microsoft did work hard on sleep and hibernate modes for Windows because they were just kind of okay in 7. They weren't amazing.
And as far as does it affect it to leave it on long term? Yes, but it depends on what you're doing. Like, I mean, my wife's MacBook Pro that she uses for work, it's a nice one with the SSD and the Retina display and everything. And hers is in sleep mode most of the time too. And I think it is crappy when she turns it back on because she has so many programs running at a time. Like the memory is filled up, the fan starts howling immediately. And this computer's like 2 years old. And, you know, it's kind of sluggish because it probably needs to be restarted more. But if you're running a lighter workload, probably not. And it's probably the same thing on a PC. Like, because I don't hibernate my desktop, I don't know what it would be like to hibernate a full Adobe suite and Vegas and Premiere and my email.
I wouldn't even want that. I wouldn't even want that. I mean, I wouldn't either. You know, I mean, I usually close all my programs, but I was just thinking, like, I mean, I used to have an iMac, and I had like a 2006 or something like that. I always left it on sleep, and it was nice because you just click a button, bam, you're right back in. But with Windows, it's never been that, like, I don't know, it's never worked that well for me. Like, you know, you put it to sleep, it's like you click anything, mouse doesn't work, you have to use a keyboard. If you have a USB or a Bluetooth mouse, like, it's like the computer has to be on to send a signal to connect the. I was like,
yeah, a lot of it is. Yeah. There's so much more variance. Like in the operating system, it works. But because you can do kind of whatever you want with your PC, it's really easy to break the feature. But Windows also, they have lots of other features. Like I don't know why people really would use Hibernate or Sleep when you can very easily let Windows just shut off hard disks or shut your display down or do very incremental sleep modes that I don't know why you would use an actual full sleep mode these days unless you're just on a laptop moving around a bunch. And then if you're doing that, like it'll have an SSD. If it's a super light, ultra portable laptop or something, it probably has an SSD. Just shut it off. I mean, it boots in like 6 seconds. I mean, unless either set it so it doesn't turn off when you shut your lid if you're just moving around really quickly, or if you're going to shut it for a period of time, just turn it off.
Yeah, I think my question was just kind of in terms. I was playing the PS4 earlier, and I had Witcher 3. It was already in sleep mode, and I tapped the button, and it's amazing how quick you just jump right back in the game. And I was just thinking, I was just wondering, I haven't used it for a while, so I don't know if there is the feature on Windows where like, could I just leave it where it's not using much power or anything? I click a mouse button, I just log back in, and then bam, I'm right back into.
Yes. These days, yes, it works just like that.
I can actually answer that for the more complicated programs too.
Yes,
I use it somewhat frequently on my work computer, just for now and again. The only thing that does not work well in 8.1 are applications that use your video card. Like anything that's like 3D accelerated, like 3ds Max, do not sleep 3ds Max. Your viewports will have to like refresh, and they might get a little glitchy when you come out of sleep. But Adobe Suite and all, After Effects, yeah, they sleep fine now.
And these days, I don't get, like on a desktop, I don't know why you would sleep it, because your hard disks will automatically turn off. Your SSD doesn't really use any power. Your modern CPUs will throttle down to like 500 megahertz, so they're not really using any power. Like, why would you sleep?
Well, I guess the reason is because, I mean, if I leave my computer on for days and days and days, it does get boggy. It does get bogged down. For me, I mean, it is a very different experience. I mean, like with my Mac, outside of just bugs, outside of things that are just bad, I can leave my iMac on for forever. It's the crappiest 2006 one. I got like a cheap one from Mac of All Trades for my wife just to do some stuff. But then I ended up using it because it worked really well. But I would just leave that sucker on for forever.
Dave, we just lost your video.
And it worked just fine. But with my PC, it's like, to me, because it's like that extra, like the boot time on Windows, it can be fast, but it's not that fast. At least on my computer now. Maybe
on
if you come over,
it is.
Yeah, on laptops it is, but I'm saying desktops is not super slick.
You're comparing your desktop to your Mac laptop. I'm saying on laptops it's like the same.
But I'm also saying iMac too. Like it's like I don't have that many programs on my Windows that it's booting up. So I don't know. Maybe next time you come over, you can take a look to see if there's any random thing on it. But I might be willing to more play a PC game here or there if I have one. If it's just like a quicker tap, but I don't know. I'll just be right back in. But
Windows 8 sleep mode works great. I mean, I don't know if it's great for you, but it generally for most people it works really well. But what you probably have, if yours isn't booting up very quick, especially because you have an SSD, what you have with like a laptop or an iMac, something where you can't adjust the BIOS settings, they'll have fast boot options turned on, whereas most custom PCs will test everything and show you more information before they boot into Windows. But in the BIOS or in the UEFI, you can shut that off most of the time. Yeah. So unless something's wrong, it just throws up the splash screen and goes straight to Windows. Like mine will be showing the Windows like spinning thing, showing it's loading Windows, usually within like 3 seconds. So it just depends. Again,
so you could turn off the computer, restart it, and be back in like 3 seconds?
No, it would be loading Windows in 3 seconds. I could be back in, completely logged in and ready to go in under 30 seconds. If I didn't have a login screen, it would be quicker, but I do, so it's not. So I guess that would work. I mean, I'll
have to give it a shot to see if it's good.
Everything all right, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm back.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things. It might work great on a lot of PCs. It'll probably work terrible on a lot of others just because there's so much variance. There's no way to say it's a guaranteed good experience across the board. But I will say on the laptops I've used it on, it seems to work perfectly fine.
My power setting, like choose or customize a power plan. Preferred plans. It's not on balance. It's on high performance.
For gaming, you want it on high performance.
Okay,
and for maybe video editing.
I think that might have been
definitely for video editing.
Yeah, because otherwise it'll like slow down the power to your video cards and stuff, and you'll have to wait longer while it spools stuff back up and get stuff heated back up again to use.
And my computer says put the computer to sleep. Never. I don't know why.
Well, try it. Set it to go to sleep after like an hour and just see how it treats you.
Yeah,
I use my sleep mode when I'm going to get up
and I'm like, too and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to sleep mode, it's like it's off. It's just you literally have minimal power.
Okay.
So I turn it off when I think I might come back in an hour or two. Mm-hmm. But the main benefit to me is it turns off both the computer monitors too.
Yeah. Why don't you set your screens to turn off?
What's that?
Why don't you just tell your screens to turn off? Like just set video to turn off after 20 minutes or something.
Because I can do it in like 3 seconds.
Okay.
And I'm saving whatever little energy I would. And if I'm going to come back later, then I do. If I don't come back in like for a whole day, I don't care.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, I think I had it on a setting before, or at least like when I thought it was asleep, it still had like the fans, or at least one fan going or something like that. So I was like, it's creating still heat in the office. But I'm like, if sleep works really, really well, I might keep it on more often and just, I don't know, just be quick to, hey, I'll just walk in, check to see if Dave's on or something like that. But usually it is kind of like when I go to use my computer, it's what am I doing right now? I'm either doing the podcast, I gotta go edit Norman. You know, like it's for a specific, I don't just randomly jump on it, where that's why, like with the PS4, it is kind of like where I'm hanging out generally in the vicinity. It's like, oh, I'll press a button, see if John's playing, see what someone's playing a game, or watch a movie, or, you know, whatever. So,
Yep. Makes sense.
Cool. Well, thanks for the help, guys.
Yep. And now really quick before we go this evening, we're going to do What Are You Playing This Week, where we talk about what we're playing this week. I'll go first. I'm playing lots of The Witcher 3. That's it for me. And some Project Cars.
You've been enjoying it now that you can actually play it again?
I'm up to about 20 hours, which I know isn't that much. And actually, last night I went through and I looked up.
We're such a pathetic group.
Not spoilers.
20, I know it's not that much.
Not spoilers about the story, but I looked up the number of main story missions just to see the name of the one I was on currently, to make sure I'm not rushing through it. And I'm only like 15% through the story missions for the game. So I was like, okay, I can relax and actually start getting into it. Because I've been doing lots of just side quests and running around checking out the question marks on the map and stuff. Because I didn't want to rush through the story. But after seeing that, I'm like, okay, if a story, like if a mission's really cool, I'll just go straight to the next one now, because I'm not worried about burning through them.
I'm on the quest to head back to the bog. Is there still so much left in that quest line?
I don't know which one.
You have about an hour left in it, maybe.
Oh, okay. It's not 19 hours long, Dave. You play really slow, Dave. I mean, I think I've been playing it for about 5 hours. I wouldn't say it's an amazing quest, honestly. I think what makes their quest lines really good. I mean, there have been really good quests, but they have really good writing, so their dialogue's very good. But it's been a lot of dialogue in this quest. So I would say quest-wise, it's just been a lot of good story, but I wouldn't say it's an amazing quest when it comes to just like gameplay, because there's not a lot of gameplay in the quest.
That's what's interesting, Joel, and they're very seamless about the way they do it. Some of the missions I thought were cool, I go search their names on the Witcher subreddit, and you find people talking about them, and there's so many subtle ways the missions can be different, which you don't pick up when you're playing them because it feels so natural. It doesn't feel like there's that many choices, but there are a lot of ones you don't even realize that. Some people are saying like, oh, this mission sucked, I didn't like it. And other people are like, I thought it was amazing, why didn't you like it? And they talk about it. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that sounds like it did suck. Like whatever choices they made, the mission was like just nothing happened and they moved on to the next one. And some people was like hours of really amazing, cool dialogue. And other people are hopping in going, that sucks, I want to reload my save. That sounds way better. Like I was talking to Dave, my Bloody Baron questline finish, I thought, I was like, wow, that was an awesome ending. And Dave was like, yeah, mine just sucked.
Mine was depressing, like 4 different ways of super depressing, like family depressing, extended soldiers depressing, the peasantry, they are getting screwed, or a bunch of orphans got killed. It was just awful.
So yeah, I think it really matters, like, and they do a good job of that. I think some of the quests you're definitely gonna be like, oh, well, that's nothing, and other people it'll be like some huge experience just based on how they've played it. So
this is not a negative for the game. It's more of like a slight warning, where it's one of those things where I feel like it's less so than Skyrim, just because the game does load really quick and like you don't have to load into houses and stuff. Like you just walk into stuff. But it's one of those things where I was walking, I was like getting ready to get close up to a question mark or like a quest character, you know, and I'm like, is this the one that it's just gonna automatically take me right into the quest, like when you walk near? Because it's like when I'm trying to get off of the game, it's like, crap, now I gotta dialogue, and I don't want to skip it because there's no way to go back and like you know, you'd have to reload or something like that.
It's
so it's one of those things.
So
I'm like,
good.
Yeah, it's all very good, but it's like, oh crap, I'm like, I gotta find a place, like, stop talking, I need to load to save to get out of here.
You're like hiding in the bushes, like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Stop throwing content at me.
But it is nice because I love being able to just do sleep mode on the PS4, and I'm right mid sentence in the game, and it brings me right back up. So
that's nice.
That is a pretty nice feature.
Mm-hmm. Dave?
Well, Jeremiah, you and I played 1 hour of Attila, and literally everything else for me this week, outside of 1 hour of Empire recording last night, has been The Witcher 3. It is incredible. I just hit 54 hours.
All right.
And when I'm not playing it, I'm spending like 2 hours taking screenshots and like cinematic free cam videos, and just the world, the game, the combat, the lore, the crafting, everything is just awesome. Gwent, the card game. This game is
I'm trying not to judge, Dave.
No, judge away.
I'm trying not to judge.
Are you playing it yet, James?
James,
I've
you're
played a few
judging.
hours.
It's a matter of
I've played a
pride
few
for
hours.
me. Pride, all pride.
How many hours do you have in the game now, Dave?
Me?
Who?
My counter actually froze for like a day and a half, and it looks like it
Not like
actually was
that's gonna
tracking
matter
it,
at
though.
all. That's gonna be a tiny little dot on the time of how many hours you
Well,
play.
it caught up. I think it's actually somewhat close, but I just hit 54 hours.
Cool. James, what are you playing?
Joel and I have been playing Dark Souls 2, PS4.
Yeah,
Been a
we
lot
got
of fun.
I think over like a week and a half. I think we got like 15 or 16 hours in it.
Yeah,
Cool.
It's been fun.
That's I play it alone. I'm like, ugh, so annoying. But I think the phrase "misery loves company." Like, it's so much more fun dying when you're like with a friend.
It's
'Cause then
true.
just like,
It is.
well, let's just do it again. But I'm alone. I'm like, son of a.
Yeah, no, we've
also,
been having a lot of fun. James is getting really good at it too.
a really surprising. I started playing Saints Row Reelected. It's like stupid fun. Like you it starts out kind of GTA-ish where you run around, get a car, and you customize. But then you get superpowers, and all that stuff doesn't matter anymore. And so you're like running like super speed and jumping super high, and you're like floating from building to building. It's just been kind of fun,
Cool.
and it's a pick up and play.
Yes, it's very much so. All right, guys. Well, that's the podcast. Thank you for coming out. As always, you can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com. You can tweet at casualshenaniga, and you can find us on YouTube at Germ Gaming, at Evil Viking 13. Evil Viking on Twitter, Germ Gaming on Twitter. And we have some other places you'll be able to find us coming up very soon. Tiny little tease. But for now, remember, episode 100 is in 2 weeks, June 18th. And we'll probably have more final details for that next week, but it's going to be a really awesome time. I'm quickly losing the ability to string together coherent sentences.
That coffee has left the system.
It shut down.
I teased to John what I'm going to reveal
did you?
on the 100th
Oh, you
episode. It's
jerk.
amazing. Because I need you guys to have your reactions because you're going to be on the podcast. John won't be on the podcast,
Right.
But he's just like, this is going to be awesome. So I can't wait. I get to see it tomorrow. So I'm really, really, really stoked. Sounds kind of weird.
Joel keeps promising us, guys, if you missed it, he says there's a really awesome surprise coming for episode 100, and we honestly do not know what it is. We have no idea. So
All I hear Joel saying is,
no one
I
else
teased
been kind of
John.
really
and I get to
planning any
see it
special
soon.
things. So I was like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna make the 100th episode special. So
all right, guys. Episode 100, 2 weeks. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for watching. And stay casual.